What's up, everyone? We're here. We're thriving. 15 minutes early, sort of the 15-minute pre-show thing, as usual. And as usual, or last couple weeks, as soon as I said we're gonna go live in one, Tony goes, "I'm gonna use the bathroom and get some water." I'm like, "All right," but it's all good though, because we're just getting warmed up. We're just getting started up. I need to post the show. If you're watching this after the fact, I'm trying to be more conscious of the fact that there's usually a lot of dead air before we start, and I'm trying to reduce that. Tony,
Yo, what's going
it
on?
was just not much. We're live now, just letting you know.
Cool.
I was just saying how I'm trying to be more conscious of the fact that, we do these like little 15-minute pre-things, but some people watch afterwards. So I'm like, you know what? I want to try to be more conscious of the fact that, like, if you're watching this after the fact, that it's like not just like 15 minutes of dead air. You like fast forward a few minutes in or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Especially
I don't
since
know.
we don't put like a timer on it or
What's
anything
that?
like that. Especially since we don't put markers on it, timestamps.
Yeah. I guess I should maybe start doing that too. I don't know how though. Like I one time, I don't know. It's probably not even worth getting into on here. But yeah, you
I
were
like
saying
it
you've
with
been
very
like
little
sort of,
effort.
yeah. You were saying that you were like kind of avoiding checking news stuff today. I've been, I have not been. I've been like kind of a little glued onto it, maybe more than I should be, because like you said, it's like we're gonna be doing this for like 3.5 more years or whatever, probably a little bit more, and like it's just, when these things happen like today, it's just like my inclination is to just try to get as much information just crammed into my head as possible. That way I can like sort of process it on my own. And like sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it just kind of like does like the opposite, like just makes me a little bit like, depressed is probably not the right word, but just sort of like I get anxious and I sort of close down a bit, which is not good. Like I need to be better about, like you said, like not putting that on me, because there's little I can do. We talked about this before. We talked about this when he was inaugurated, but obviously we're talking about the tariffs right now and how it just like has completely fucked the U.S. economy. And it's such a weird thing because like it's not like they're saying this is like the biggest drop since like 2020. So it's like, oh, so it's not been that long since we've had like just market crash like this. But the difference is
that was COVID.
That was COVID. It was completely unavoidable. Well, not completely unavoidable, but it was like an act of, is outside of the control
An
of like
act of God, quote unquote, whatever.
Almost, yeah. And this time it was not. It was just him deciding that he wants to try this like economic like
realignment or some sort of like restructuring. And
it's like an experiment, It's like, and for him it's just an experiment. And like for his donors and everything, like it's like, okay, well, this could work, this could not work. Let's just see how it plays out for a little bit. But people, like I already saw today, like, multiple companies where like 900 people got laid off temporarily because they like build cars in the United States. But how can you build cars right now if the tariff situation is so in flux? And like people are all sort of acknowledging it's in flux, but they're saying it's permanent. And then they're going, well, it's like one guy will say it's permanent, then Trump will say, oh no, we're like, if somebody offers us something, obviously we'd have to listen to it. So it's like, so it's not permanent. So it's not, so it is in flux. So there is no market confidence. It's also weird too, because like we've said before, like neither you or I are like at the wealth income level where this like affects us in like we're losing money actively, but it affects us.
No, I've really effectively like kind of maintained a very low overhead for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So as much as I can, considering where I live in America. Right. But there's a lot of people who I could see, like, it's grim, but I think to myself at times, like, damn, thank God I never had a family, which is like,
no, it's totally
like sad, because it's like I think it's beautiful. A beautiful family is a wonderful thing, but then it's like, well, at least I don't have to worry about paying, feeding kids and like getting them, make sure they have healthcare, or get them to school, and make sure I have my, fucking nice tires so I don't blow out driving them somewhere, shit like that. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, am I going to be able to make X amount over the course of the next 6 months to sustain my lifestyle off of being a comic book artist? You know, it's like,
Right.
it's very low overhead. But yeah, but back to what you were saying before about like avoiding it. It's like I feel like and not overindulging in it. It's a work in progress for me. It's like
Yeah.
constantly reinforcing what I know, you know, because I do the same thing. I find that's why today I took a day away from it because like I found myself getting sucked into a darkness, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I gotta like go to the things I do, and I should have had to do outside, so I got to go on a nice long walk and got to go outside and talk to people and stuff. So and I just like put on my podcast and went for a walk,
What are you
my
listening
outdoor
to?
walk. Jack Cornfield, mindfulness stuff.
Mm,
Be Here Now Network. Some
that's
good
what's up.
stuff, like good lectures, like current stuff, and he talks about the present climate, the political climate, and then they'll like play old lectures from like the 90s and 80s and stuff, and they're still prescient and relevant,
That's cool.
which I don't know what that says about humanity, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's like, but as I'm listening to these, as I'm walking, I'm like, damn, yeah, I need to do this. Like I know this, like I know to do this stuff, and
Sure.
I do it, and I know it's healthy for me to do it, like being mindful and avoiding things and staying off my phone and all that shit. And it's like, but I catch myself in these patterns and then I spiral, and it's like, so it's good to just reinforce it, because it's like, it's unavoidable, and I live in the world, so I can't, I can't shut myself away from it. But it's like you're saying, I can't.
Yeah.
What can I do? It's like I can only do so much. I can only affect what I can affect, and worrying about all these other things is like putting the weight of the world on my shoulders isn't going to help me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said, a lot of it is just so like I can process it more clearly and like resolve it in my head and think about like sometimes it's just like mitigating the worst possible outcomes by like thinking of other ways that this could also play out. You know what I mean? And like I'm not the smartest guy, so it's not like I have the best ideas of how this works out. I'm only going off of like what we've already seen, what they indicate, and like but then I'll see something like a headline or something. I'm like, well, that's not good. And then, I have to like rework myself into a process where I'm like, have a clean sort of mindscape. You know what I mean? Like where it's
Yeah.
not so rocky and fucked up. But,
Well, you're not alone in this. We're all in this
no, I
together, and
know.
there's people with a lot more at stake than you. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know
Now,
what I mean?
weirdly, my boy Gavin Gruesome, like my boy Gavin Gruesome was on the Midas Touch Network, and I was watching it because I'm just like, I was just curious, like, what is the California sort of response, like, as a governor? What does he say in a moment like this, where like he was basically saying, like, yeah, we have like the fourth largest economy. We do a lot of business through this. This is going to seriously affect the way our state runs, and like it's sort of insane when you think about how like um there's so many ways that like people can pressure people to get things for like to help like the global economy and stuff, or like I mean like what Trump wants to do is basically like use the influence of the United States as a uh, global buying power to sort of force other countries to bend to like, well, you don't want us to cut off these money streams, do you? So then do what we want. Like you could force his leverage on other countries. The best he's trying to, I think the problem is that he's going up against like these countries that are now going like, we don't like you're not. It's not that much money, and you're not that fucking tough, And you
Also,
like
if he
doing it,
crushes our dollar, then it's like, well, what is he? He's weakening his own strength by doing this. So it's like,
but it's also like, um,
what's your leverage if everybody in America is broke and can't afford to buy things?
if you have no allies though, it's like how do you win a trade war? If you like
Yeah, yeah,
if you're literally the only one not in the global economy, that doesn't really seem to work.
yeah. It's
But
it's totally
like
nonsensical and irrational and stupid. It doesn't make
what's
any
fucked up
sense.
about our country is like, it's 50 states, and like I live in California, it's the biggest state, has produces the most like GDP, and there is no like sort of uh negotiation to like what benefits California. You know what I mean? And it's just sort of crazy. Parra says he wants a tributary economy, but he doesn't understand the real situation of the global economy. Right. It's like when he was pressing Zelensky and he was going like, "You don't have the cards. You don't have the cards." It's like at some point Xi Jinping or somebody's gonna like have to sit him down and be like, "You don't have the cards, bro. You don't have the cards." Like, you think like you can exist outside this global economy. Like, you can't. That's not how the world works now. He wants to go back to like 20, not 20. He wants to go back to like the 1800s, and it's like that's just not. This is not the reality.
Bro,
It's not the reality based on.
He's Ethan Klein at the poker table.
Yeah, right. It's not the reality based on like the lifestyle that you want. You know what I mean? Not just everybody else, but like the Trump sort of like idea of the world is also like a global economy. It's just he wants the United States to be the like we were already the head of like the Western homogeny, the Western like hegemonic sort of empire, but he wants it to be like the head with like a crown on it or something. Like he wants it to be like there is no cooperation. It is just complete rule, like Para said, a tributary economy.
Yeah. Well, also like after getting his ass kicked in Wisconsin, it's like what that Zed guy said. Part of it is like he did a lot of this to like distract from that, like the political losses and the fact that he's not popular here. Like his ideas are not popular, and his
such a wild move though, because this doesn't help him though. That's what's so weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, because he's a fucking dementia-addled senior citizen who should be in a nursing home staring out of a window. Instead, he's like, leader of the free world.
Para says the irony is it's not even like the Socialist Republic of Vietnam ripping off America. It's Nike factories in Vietnam, LMAO. It's American companies. That's the other thing. It is like he's saying that people are ripping off America. It's like, no. Like all of the CEOs in your orbit are the people who have been ripping off America for so long. Like, do you think that the other countries were like offshoring our jobs? Like, why? Like, why?
Dude, a lot of American cars are made overseas and shipped here. It's not like, so it's like, buy American. Well, you're still shipping them from somewhere else. Like that doesn't.
But like, to what I was saying was that like the companies that like take these like manufacturing jobs and like ship them overseas, they're not doing it because they love Vietnam. They're doing it because they love like sweatshop labor. And like I think the ideal for Trump is that they could make these manufacturing sectors in America with also sweatshop labor. And that's like the thing is like he's talking about all these jobs coming back, but they're not union jobs. They want like the Tesla Elon Musk model of like, we'll bring back jobs, but they're the jobs that like people are going to be exploited in, because that's what they want is like mass exploitation. They want Amazon warehouse jobs, but where you can also make stuff, not just be a service economy. What's up, Ibrahim?
What up?
What up, dog?
Not much. We were just lightly talking about tariffs before you got in.
Yeah, no, I have a lot to say on the matter actually. So toys are all made in Asia for the most part, right? And there's going to be massive tariffs on like I'm going to be, me and everyone, just about like every average person who collects this stuff or does any of this stuff is going to be priced out. Like a figure that would typically, a high end figure like the kind I get, $75 to $100, right? They're going to be upwards of $150, $200 after this. Like that's just not sustainable for anybody. And these fucking idiots going, oh, well, it'll bring manufacturing to the company. They don't understand that like China has been manufacturing these things for the last half century.
Yeah.
Like they're specialized. Like it's not just like a sweatshop. These are like specialized warehouse or specialized manufacturing technicians, right? Like,
it's like thinking you can play in the NBA off the couch. Like,
yes.
What are you?
So minimum, I watched this stream of this guy who runs a toy store, both online and in brick and mortar, and he said that like it's a minimum 10-year time gap before anything could be built here and like get up and running and everybody trained well enough to even do it, right? And at that point, the prices are still going to be the same as the post-tariff prices, if not higher, because you have to pay American laborers, right?
Right.
And it's like all these people who are going, oh, well, it'll bring stuff back to the manufacturing back to the country, are not even understanding the fact that like it was the fucking corporations who are in league with Trump who took it overseas in the first place, because they're all union busters and they don't want to pay American workers living wages to do this job. So yeah, it's insane, man. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Para says they want 15-year-old Americans, 15-year-old American girls in Mississippi to stitch footballs for Nike instead of Pakistani girls.
Yep, 100%.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, it's this weird version of America that like exists within this conservative mindset that's like everybody should be living Spartan lifestyles except for me, because I'm obviously going to be the beneficiary of the global economy, right?
Yeah.
So like I saw like this guy, you know who the Quartering is?
Oh yeah, the guy who pees in his basement.
Yeah, the guy who pees in his basement. He put out a tweet that was like somebody shared it in our group chat.
Yeah, you guys. He pees in a drain right by his fucking table.
Oh,
yeah, literally.
Not a bathroom.
He tweeted, "You do not need a new iPad. You do not need a new cell phone. You do not need a new video game console. You want them. There is a big difference. And if you look at the people whining about the tariffs, I challenge you to ask them how their lives have been affected in any way. Well, first of all, tariffs haven't gotten into effect quite yet. They're about to. And then
it just happened yesterday.
Prices of everything up, right?
Yeah.
But second of all, it also like, yes, maybe an old person who's like about to retire, like they don't need a new iPad or cell phone or a video game console. They need their 401k, which just got completely obliterated. You know?
Not only that, but like they're the party of like bootstrapping, right? Lift yourself up by your own bootstraps. Okay, you're right. I would like to start a business. And for that, I need a device that does creative output, point of sale, communications, bookkeeping. What could I use for that? And perhaps.
Yeah. And you know, well, hey, at least like Apple builds devices that last forever. They don't ever like crash out after 2 years and make you need to get the new version of it. That doesn't happen. Yeah. So,
dude, I just bought a new computer in 2024 for the first time in like a decade, and my last one was a Mac. You know, like it's these people are absolutely insane, dude.
Here's the tweet, right? So I'm only bringing this up because I want to point out, you know, Quartering, you don't need a new iPad, whatever. He's like this guy who's like, you got to live this like, you know, bare bones lifestyle. You don't need these goods. You just want them because you're spoiled and lazy or whatever. This is who this guy is.
Yeah, that's what is this motherfucker ever done?
This is the guy surrounded by Funko Pops, surrounded by like just fucking everything that was in his little surrounding is exported.
He's just sitting in landfill fodder. Dude.
Nothing about this. He's got every fucking video game console behind him in some of these pictures. Yeah. What in the fuck is he talking about?
He is the fucking trash heap in the Pacific
Ocean. Where did
he
think the Sega Genesis came from? The Nintendo 64.
I love that he makes his he makes his money like online with he makes his money online using these devices, and all the people that follow him. He's reliant on these electronic devices to have a living, a career that he doing whatever bullshit that he does. You know.
Yep.
It's like, do you think you're entitled to the lifestyle you live?
It's not just people like him, though.
No, I know. I'm just talking about him specifically because it's like I want to get to the point to where we can talk like a guy like this.
My point was,
Ron, you got a crazy delay. You guys keep.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, I'll finish my point real quick, and I'll shut up and let you cook. Yeah. I just want to get to the point that like when a guy like this says something like this, instead of talking about it in like the overall sense of the world, who is this motherfucker? What has he done? And why is he able to say this? And look at his life. Let's like literally pick this motherfucker apart. And we're like, what gives you the right to even have an opinion on this, you fat piece of shit? Like, sorry. I'm done. I'm not gonna my Italian's getting up. I'm gonna
something we need to start doing across the board is referring to them as the Trump tariffs. Like the alliteration is fucking built into it, and he needs to brand it needs to be branded under his fucking name, because that's what he does to everybody. And like, you know that they're gonna, you know, when the strife starts hitting everybody and everyone's feeling it in their fucking bank accounts in their pockets, they're gonna blame trans people or immigrants or Biden, and it's like he needs to own it 100%. And that's one of the problems with like the general left, is never like understanding how easy, absolutely free it is to do shit like that and how effective it is, right? We just wanted to, you know, well, you know, I mean, technically, some of those were in effect before Trump, and no, don't do that. Don't equivocate for him. You know?
Well, in this case,
you don't need to prove how smart you are.
In this case, none of it was in effect before Trump. It was all
no, but there's always somebody who's gonna, you know, dude. I've seen so many arguments in the toy collecting groups, or, you know, sphere today on Instagram, of people talking about this stuff who just like don't know anything about how the global economy works, or, you know, and look, I'm not a fucking expert in it, but like I grasp like the broad strokes of it enough to understand that like none of this is good. But here's the underlying thing behind it all that we always forget to talk about, is that like this is what Putin wants. The end game here is to destroy this country. That's been his goal for the last like 50 years of his life. Like, you know what I mean? So like we talk about this stuff as if like, well, how does this help Trump? It doesn't. It helps Vladimir Putin. That's it. And the sooner we all realize that, the sooner we can like have the actual discussion, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, if you say that to some people, it's like, oh, you're kooky blue MAGA lived up. It's like, no, I'm not. But also, I can see like, I'll be out of office, and the you know, it'll go back to. I have a firm belief that like this will pass, but it just helped. It's not like he's going to end America, but it's going to help Russia, because they have shit that they, you know, they're economically unsound. You know, they need help, and that's why like even with that, it's like I would still work with Russia if we could find a friendship after all this, because it's like I still, you know, we're all stronger together. So if like, hey, Russia, you don't have to be so aggressive. But the problem is we're you know, we're America. We're shitty.
Russia is. Like, I think Russia's similar to us in that like there are a lot of people there, probably the majority, that aren't down with the way shit's going. It's just like they're under the thumb of a fucking oligarch, you know, like. So
that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I remember when you know, when the Soviet Union fell and Yeltsin was in there, and everyone's like, oh, Russia's our friend now, and it's like, okay, I'm like, I don't know why they weren't to begin with, but like that's cool, you know. And then it's slowly, you know, got to this point, but it's like, you know.
Yeah, I think just saying like it's Russia is like, to me it's not that. To me it's like similar, because Russia is an oligarchy, you know, and I think that's the intent for this country as well, is just consolidate as much power within the top like 1%. The problem is that they're not just affecting the 1% right now; they're affecting also like the 5% that controls all the wealth, like. You know, in Russia, it is just like a few fiefdoms of like, you know, just extremely, extremely wealthy people. And in America, there's also millionaires as well. And like those people are the ones feeling it, right? Like today specifically, you know, and like whenever like they kill out any kind of small business, all it does is give room for like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I don't think those things are mutually exclusive, though. I think that.
Yeah,
I mean,
interest aligned, you know.
Well, sure, that's your opinion. I just told you my opinion, though. That's what I was saying.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm yes-anding you though. I'm saying like, you know, the plan from Putin this whole time has been. What's up, Doug? I mean, dude, he was the head of the KGB. Like their whole shit was to destabilize the U.S. so that Russia can become the more powerful nation. They've been doing that since longer than any of us have been alive, right? Like, so, you know, that the reason that all these Americans are doing all this treasonous shit against like our nation is because it also serves them, and like you're talking about, their interests of like consolidating power, consolidating wealth. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens if and when, and I think we're starting to get there now, where like you know, some of that shit doesn't serve them, and they're gonna be like, wait a second, you know, like, hold on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because if nobody can buy anything, if nobody can afford anything, then they're gonna start losing money. I mean, we already saw the stock market plummet today, right? So it's like,
I think with Putin too, I don't think it's like he's trying to take over the world. I just think he's trying to survive, because he's not exactly like, the economy there sucks, and he's not on like, I mean, he's on sturdy ground because he rolls it with iron fist, but it's not like he's, on solid footing, and he's, their economy's shitty. So
he's very wealthy though, and I don't know if he's as worried about the rest of them,
Para says the funny thing is Russia's economy has benefited from all these sanctions, which is true because basically, like, for a long time, the U.S. could throw around its might and be like, if we sanction you, you're basically cut off from like the global economy. But then with the rise of China as like the new sort of like could be the new hegemonic state, the rise of Iran, like, or like the Saudis specifically, like just all that oil money, like they're able to make it so that you can bypass the United States. And like Trump thinks, okay, well, things are not like that now, but they are like that now. Like you are able, if you're a country, like that's why the European Union are talking about this like sort of trading bloc that they would exist in, also strengthened by China that exists without the United States, whereas before that was kind of unthinkable. Like you need the United States. And in the United States, like I think the grand vision for Trump is obviously get Greenland, Canada, all the way down to Panama, maybe Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, but you have like a full sort of like hemisphere that you have control over, and that you control their resources, you control the labor, you control everything that goes on there. That's why it's such a like, he's so forceful about these things, is because he thinks you can make that happen in like a couple days. Obviously, that's not how the world works, though. But in the same way that Russia wants that like block, and the way that China is like saying, hey, Japan, Korea, you don't need the Americans. They're fucking crazy anyways. Like, just come talk to us now. Unthinkable that they would have like this sort of Asian trading block, but now they do, But Para says unemployment down, American companies left, replaced by locals. Now Starbucks, McDonald's want to come back, and Putin is saying, let me think about it. Right. Interesting. But anyways, let's start the actual show. We don't talk about politics on the actual show.
No, it's not a political show.
Yeah. Plus, I don't want to get like when our new overlords, whether it be Putin, whether it be Xi, which I'm rooting for Xi personally.
I'm rooting for Xi too.
I'm on Team Xi Jinping.
Team Xi. Let's go.
Yeah. When that happens,
join the army.
I don't want anything spicy out there making it sound like I was pro-America. I wasn't.
No, this is a pro-China podcast, actually.
This is an explicitly pro-China podcast. Drop the tariffs. Para says, let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. You heard about this Nintendo Switch?
I heard those games are mad expensive.
But first, welcome to New Cool Meat Podcast. We forgot to introduce it last week because we were so in the zone. We were so riffing. I think plus my connection was so shitty that we just like barreled through it. But welcome to the New Cool Meat Podcast, the number one comics podcast where we don't talk about comics. I'm your host, Ramon Villalobos, here as always with Tony Gregori.
Hi.
And Ibrahim Mustafa.
What's up?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going all right. Considering, all things considering.
Yeah. Today's been a frustrating one just with all this stuff, but
It's been a roller coaster because like I was so hyped the other day with Elon Musk taking that fat L. That
Well, that's what it was like last time, right? Remember, we would just have such like high highs and low lows, and they'd be fucking like within the same day.
Yeah. That one was funny though. I put it in the name of the titles, like because we and Tony had been on the Elon Musk beat for so long that like the week that you weren't here was the week before last. We were like making fun of him for like 2 hours, and I personally think we put a serious dent in the Elon Musk mystique. We took him down a peg. Now he can't win. Now he can't win fucking elections anymore. He's getting kicked out the White House. Trump saw the episode and he was like, "Oh my god, what do I have this loser with me for? Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, we gave him the new cool meat bump where he got Crawford elected. I think we got an extra 10 points.
That's right. So shout out to us. Hold on, let me give him. Shout out to us, obviously. But yeah, then the next day for the tariffs thing to hit, it was like insane. It was also like very disassociating because there like the thing that is weird is like that the tariff stuff will happen and you'll be like, oh, there's like this global recession on the like we're peering off the brink of it, right? And then like Nintendo will be like, here's this new $450 gaming device coming your way this year with $80 video games that $90 if you want to buy the little disc or whatever. And yeah, enjoy that. And then or like seeing like it was also CinemaCon. So we're getting all these trailers for movies and it's just like, man, I hope I'll be able to go see a movie in like a few months. I want to see that movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's late stage capitalism, baby. Gotta love it. The Superman trailer or clip that James Gunn shared looked pretty cool. More crypto.
Oh, groovy, smashing! Yay, capitalism!
Yeah, I'm growing more optimistic about that movie. I'm not the biggest fan of like Superman has robots and all that kind of stuff, but it looks like they're doing.
Does he in that one? I didn't see the trailer thing.
It's very All-Star Superman inspired by the looks of all this stuff.
It's cool.
So the fortress is cool. The way it like, I guess it kind of disappears when he's not at the door of it, and then it just like this big crystal like spike looks like a hedgehog back comes out of the ground, and then the robots come carry him in, and they like recharge him in front of this like lens thing that like amplifies the sun. So I thought that was pretty dope. It's cool to see that there's gonna be a different cinematic take on the character. So I'm excited. But yeah, like Ramon said, I just hope I can afford to see a movie in 4 months or however long.
Yeah, I'm locking down. You know, I'm trying. No unnecessary spending at all. It's not.
Yeah, I bought some supplies today for my action figure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, let me get these while I still can before the prices go up 3 times, and then that'll hold me over for a little bit.
Yeah. That's the thing. Who knows how long these things are going to last? You know, they could last months, weeks.
It could be one of those things where they go, you know, he claims a victory. We got everybody in line, and then you know,
literally
go away.
Literally, what I told Tony yesterday was like my sort of like prediction on this is that in like maybe even a couple months, like it might last that long, but they'll start claiming victories, and then like you'll just see them whittle away at all of these tariffs until they're not probably down to 0, but like down to a more like manageable rate, and then I mean whatever that may be, right? Like depending on the trading partners and everything. But
the main problem.
But then they'll go like, we did it. We saved America. You'll watch the Dow go back up, and then they'll go and also like Lutnick is fired because he's out of control.
Yeah, this was all his idea.
It's all he's been in the White House. We've been reading reports about this. He's been in the White House just like glazing Trump nonstop, going like, you know, people will be in there like actual economic like people with Trump's team. And it's like, these tariffs might not be the best idea. And then he'll just bull rush it and be like, no, sir, these ideas are great. You know, we should do 25 tariffs across the board. And they're just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, so that they're like, he's like the way that there were reports about Elon Musk being like the like persona non grata, like everybody kind of hates him. Like they can't wait to throw him overboard is the same thing with Lutnick. Like everybody's like, all the reports are that none of the Republicans really believe this shit. But this guy is like at Trump's side nonstop. And I think Trump just likes him because he's like a little loudmouth like him. And so like he's just there all the time, only saying Trump's great and that these ideas can't fail. So then when the time comes, they'll just circle around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the new Hope Hicks.
Is sucking Trump off?
Yeah. Or you know,
you got to see them feet first before. Got to see them feet before I call him Hope Hicks.
Wait, no. Who was the one that got kicked off the plane and stuff?
Oh shit! What was her name? Her husband.
Laura Loomer.
Laura Loomer. That's what I was thinking of. Not Hope Hicks. All these fucking comic book villain ass double consonant names.
You see, Laura Loomer today was at the White House, and she was saying he had to fire like 3 people at like the Department of National Security or whatever. Like just 3 people. She was like, "You got to get rid of these people," and he's like now thinking like he's going through the process of doing it. just because she doesn't like him. Crazy.
I thought she was out.
She's back in, or at least like she was back in today. She had lunch with him. Told him you need to fire these people.
That's crazy.
Doug says, I'm a sucker for the gun Suicide Squad movie with random stuff from the comics. Starro. I figure I'll go into that with this view. True.
Yeah. See, I decidedly was not a fan of that movie, and that's part of my reservation on this one. Is I'm like, I really didn't like that Suicide Squad movie, but I like the Guardians one. So
I thought Crypto looked a lot better in the clip they shared today. In the first trailer I saw, it looked a little weird.
A little too CG. Yeah.
This one looked better though.
I agree. I also liked I thought the suit looked better in this one. It was a little more form fitting, a little less like a fucking Carhartt coverall setup. So
Sophie says, I like the Superman robots in the new clip, but I don't like their quips. The Superman robots are quipping too?
Yeah. He looks at her and the one robot goes, he looked at me, hee, and like does a tee-hee thing, which I didn't quite get. Because the other robot just got done saying they don't have emotions and feel anything.
I assume that's going to be like a beat where it's like, oh, they actually do, and you know, that's why. Because in the trailer, he's like crying over one of them, you know.
Yeah.
What was I forgot what I was going to say. Something about what we were talking about.
I have two. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry.
So I have two different ideas of where the show can go. Do you guys want the science news or do you guys want the criminal news? Obviously, they're going to be dumb criminals and weird science. So where do we go with this?
I like to. Let's do the science stuff first and get it out of the way, so then we go to the dumb stuff.
Yeah, because what if the science stuff is like, okay. The thing is, we don't know anything about science, so this is going to be fun. Yeah. Okay, so a mysterious golden orb is found at the bottom of the ocean. That's. I can show you a picture of the orb here.
I love a good orb.
Yeah, it's also like it's not an orb. That's the thing that gets me about this. So this is the so-called orb.
That looks like a piece of like plastic with some insulation foam behind it.
Yeah.
That's just garbage.
That's just garbage, yeah. What?
At around 2 miles below the surface of the ocean, off the coast of Alaska, where the warm light of the sun never penetrates, an NOAA ocean exploration remotely operated underwater vehicle came across a strange golden orb. The bizarre undersea object encountered during the 2020 expedition in 2023 was found lightly adhered to a rock dotted with white sponges, measuring around 4 inches across the hole in one side. That's weird though, like a hole in one side. That's not an orb though. Do you know what an orb is? It's just like a round thing.
Yeah, it's a round thing.
For the scientists, go ahead.
It's a circle.
For the scientists making the discovery, it wasn't clear what the mysterious orb might be. Although, like Ibrahim said, it's probably plastic. Initial suggestions from the researchers conducted the live stream of the dive included an egg casing from a mystery species, a dead sponge, or a coral. I don't know what to make of that, said one of the researchers on the live stream. It's definitely got a big old hole in it. So something either tried to get in or tried to get out, another speculated. I just hope that when we poke it, something doesn't decide to come out, one researcher said. It's like the beginning of a horror movie. Whatever deep dive horror might be, it might have yet some growing to do, as reported by The Guardian. One hypothesis suggests that something may have hatched from the golden case, something not exactly tiny. We're going with the egg because of the texture. It felt fleshy, and it doesn't have any obvious anatomy. It has a hole in it that suggests something has come in or gone out, but it doesn't look like any egg I've ever seen. Deep sea ecologist Carrie Howell of the University of Plymouth in UK told the reporter, if it's an egg, the really interesting question is whose egg is it? It's quite big. It's not a small fish egg. That's a sizable thing. Using a robotic arm, the researchers gently nudged the object, determining that it was quite soft before collecting it via suction for further study.
They're gonna find out it's a Funko Pop, dude.
It was one of the Quartering's background objects.
Yeah. They're essentially using like probably a $50 million claw machine to pull up a Funko Pop out of the fucking dredges.
But they said it was fleshy though. Look at it.
Yeah, that shit breaks down under all that water sea pressure, you know?
That's fair.
Look at that. How many quarters they had to use to get that shit? Every time they pick it up, it just
how many quarters? Dio's like, people will be calling anything orbs these days. True. Doug says, I got a robotic arm right here. That's crazy. Okay. The fact that the egg was in its was on its own is almost as intriguing as its size. Typically, oviparous animals lay eggs in clutches. So if an object is an egg, it's something unusual about it, which is quite marvelous, really, whatever it is. The orb has something new to tell us about the deep ocean and the diverse life that thrives therein.
Oh, we get to see it out of the water. Okay.
There's a lot that happens in the inhospitable ocean depths that we don't yet understand. Crushing pressures and freezing temperatures are just two factors that have kept humanity from exploring widely. However, with remotely operating vehicles acting as a proxy, the ocean is gradually revealing its secrets, including how mysterious deep ocean species procreate.
Yeah, okay, if you look closely at that picture, that's a Rick Grimes Funko Pop. You see the way that center ridge is kind of splitting? That's where the brim of his hat meets the head on the Funko Pop.
Mm-hmm.
It is a weird looking texture, though.
It looks like a mushroom, like a big piece of fungus, you know?
It also does kind of look like something out of Alien from the movie Aliens. Doug says coral, but coral has like a more texture to it.
No, he's talking about Rick Grimes' son, Carl. Coral.
Oh. Isn't the deep sea so delightfully strange? Said exploration coordinator Sam Candillo of NOAA Ocean Exploration. While we were able to collect the golden orb and bring it onto the ship, it's no longer an orb though. You just collected a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's not an orb.
We still are not able to identify it beyond the fact that it is biological in origin. While it is somewhat humbling to be stumped by this finding, it serves as a reminder of how little we know about our own planet and how much is left to learn and appreciate about our ocean. That's the thing, is like they're always talking about like going to Mars, colonizing Mars or the moon or whatever. How about do an ocean fucking or that was that show where they go under the Sea Lab 2021? Do that. Like, why are we trying to it's so far to go there? Just build stuff under the water. The water levels are rising. We should become amphibious. That's my opinion.
I think a lot of times when we see stuff like this, it just seems like they're really, really over intellectualizing like a piece of garbage that fell into the bottom of the ocean. Like it's a one-off, you know, like what I mean, I don't know.
Wait until
do
we
some
find
testing,
more of these
I guess. Like, I don't know how long it takes to run it against their database, but it really just seems like a whole lot of nothing. Also, I don't want to completely glaze over what a good joke that was from Doug, because it was coral, like underwater, but Rick Grimes, Carl, very, very well done, Doug.
Doug says, gotta head home. Love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Love you, man. Doug. Safe travels.
Speaking of things that we find under the ocean, dark oxygen, a deep sea discovery that has split scientists. Could lumpy metallic rocks in the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean be making oxygen in the absence of sunlight? Here, I'll show you the rocks. Look at polymetallic nodules and an abyssal sturgeon. So these little rocks right here, they think are creating oxygen under the water.
That's tight. Those little rocks are out there working, dude. Not like that lazy glob of shit we just looked at.
Could lumpy metallic rocks in the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean be making oxygen in absence of light? Some scientists think so, but others have challenged the claim that so-called dark oxygen is being produced in the lightless abyss of the seabed. The discovery
dark oxygen is fucking cool sounding. Dark.
Dark
do
oxygen.
it with the thing. Do it with the thing. Dark oxygen.
Oh yeah. Oh.
USA.
Dark oxygen.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know what? I'll read the rest of the story like this. Imagine I'm underwater.
Do the dark oxygen metallic rocks. Like that episode of Melrose Place.
Could lumpy metallic rocks in the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean be making oxygen in the absence of sunlight?
Some scientists think so, but others have challenged the claim that so-called dark oxygen is being produced in the lightless abyss of the seabed. The discovery, detailed last July by the Nature Geoscience, called into question long-held assumptions about the origins of life on Earth and sparked intense scientific debate. The findings are so consequential for mining companies eager to extract precious metals contained within these polymetallic nodules. Isn't that what it's really all about?
Yeah.
Like, we might have found a rock that is creating oxygen at the bottom of the ocean. This could be the key to everything. This could be how Earth got terraformed to begin with. It could have been like Mars or whatever. And it's like, yeah. The American mining or the mining companies are going to need to see them rocks.
Dude,
what if there's
I'm
oil?
always saying this. Anytime there's any kind of discovery, like if there's ever like extraterrestrial beings that make their way to this planet, we're going to ask ourselves 4 questions. Can we kill it? Can we weaponize it? Can we sell it? Can we fuck it? And with that rock,
multiple.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what order that's going to be in too. Like, I think fuck it might be first.
Scientists say that the black oxygen rock can be, or the dark oxygen rock can be fucked.
Incredible blowjobs from the black
Hey,
rock.
you know what, dude?
A flashlight made out of dark oxygen.
Finds a way.
Researchers said that potato-sized nodules could be producing enough electrical current to split seawater into hydrogen and oxygen, a process known as electrolysis. This casts doubt on the long-established view that life was made possible when organisms started producing oxygen via photosynthesis, which requires sunlight, about 2.7 billion years ago. The deep-sea discovery calls into question the origins of life, the Scottish Association for Marine Science said in a press release to accompany the publication research. By the way, we've done so many episodes where we'll be like, who cares? What does this matter? I feel like this is one of those rare times where it's like, oh, Science W, this matters. This is cool.
Yeah.
Like we found rocks that created the origin of life on Earth. And we're not sure if it's not an alien in origin, just like the Golden Orb. It could have come out of the Golden Orb. We don't know. Environmentalists said that the presence of dark oxygen showed just how little is known about the life at these extreme depths and supported their case that deep-sea mining posed unacceptable ecological risks. Greenpeace has long campaigned to stop deep-sea mining from beginning in the Pacific due to the damage it could do to delicate deep-sea ecosystems, the environmental organization said. This incredible discovery underlines the urgency of that call. Oh, I got bad news. Nobody's going to give a fuck when they start mining down there. We already know.
Yeah.
They're just going to start doing it. Kill all the life. They won't care.
Out of sight, out of mind. We don't know what's going on down there. Like,
yeah. Oh, you might kill some like golden orb fish things. We don't care.
Oh, the Switch 2. Funko Pop. That's what we're going to care about.
Dios is unobtainium. Let's fucking go. Yeah, absolutely, bro. The discovery was made in the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, a vast underwater region of the Pacific Ocean between Mexico and Hawaii, of growing mining companies. Like, yeah, there's probably oil too, though. The origin of life on Earth and probably oil. Scattered on the seafloor, 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles beneath the surface, polymetallic nodules contain manganese, nickel, and cobalt. Metals used in electric car batteries and on other low-carbon technologies. The research that gave rise to the dark oxygen discovery was partly funded by Canadian deep-sea mining business, the Metals Company, that wanted to assess the ecological impact of such exploration. It has sharply criticized the study by marine ecologist Andrew Sweetman and his team as plagued by methodological flaws. Michael Clark, the environmental manager at the metals company, told AFP that the findings are more logically attributed to poor scientific technique than the shoddy science than a never before observed phenomenon. Okay, you're just being a hater because you're jealous that the rocks got more motion than you. I think the metals, of course, the guy from the metals company, the Canadian
It's actually
mining
not
company,
that tight.
Yeah, he's like, those rocks don't do all that much. You know that, right? Like, you know that those rocks aren't that cool. It's like, you're not that cool.
Then
You
why
just
do
want
you
to
want
mine
them?
stuff down there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Then why are you people here?
Sweetman's findings proved explosive, with many in the scientific community expressing reservations or rejecting the conclusions. Since July, 5 academic research papers refuting Sweetman's findings have been submitted for review and publication, probably all funded by mining companies, to be fair. He did not present clear proof of his observations and hypothesis, said Matthias Haeckel, a biochemist at Geomar Helmholtz Center for Ocean Research in Kiel, Germany. Many questions remain after the publication, so now the scientific community needs to conduct similar experiments and either prove or disprove it. I mean, that's fair. You know what? Have you ever seen the movie The Lost World?
The Jurassic Park one?
No, the original one from like the night. It was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It was like his other book aside from Sherlock Holmes.
With the Slay Slacks or whatever they're called, right?
No, that's Journey to the Center of the Earth, right?
I think
that's
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost, yeah.
Yeah. So the Lost World like inspired Jurassic Park, inspired King Kong. I was actually trying to get us to watch like the made-for-TV version the other day. But it was like it's basically about there's a bunch of scientists and one of them is like, there are still dinosaurs in South America. And all the other scientists are like, you're fucking stupid. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. And then this in the movie, and in the book it happens differently, but in the movie, like this guy's daughter shows up with his journal and like he drew dinosaurs in it. And the guy's like, this is proof that there are dinosaurs in South America still. We need to go explore to see these dinosaurs. So they go, and because it's a movie, it's like, yes, there are dinosaurs down there, you know? It's basically like when they go see King Kong on Skull Island, there's like a tribe and then like big creatures. So anyways, it just reminds me of that because I loved in the movie when I was watching it. I was like, this motherfucker is so confident because all he saw was like a sketchbook with like some badly drawn dinosaurs. And he's like, all right, let's go to South America. I got to prove my theory. Sophie says, let's watch it.
I'm down.
Oliver Rouxel, a geochemistry researcher at the IFREMER, the French National Institute for Ocean Science and Technology, told the AFP that there's absolutely no consensus on these results. Deep sea sampling is always a challenge, he said, adding that it was possible that the oxygen detected was trapped air bubbles in the measuring instruments. Okay. He was skeptical about I love that it was like, are you sure that it was the rock doing that, or was it you just being an idiot and you still had air bubbles in your instruments?
So you don't know how to use this very expensive piece of equipment that you've probably trained on for a long time.
Are you sure it's those little rocks? Really? He was also
like, do you think you could get to a point where you're testing and measuring deep sea shit and you don't think about the fact that there might be some air bubbles in the instrument? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like telling a basketball player, like, hey, dude, the ball might have been overinflated. You don't know. It's like, yeah, I would know.
Oliver Rouxel, a geochemistry researcher. Oh, I read that part already. Deep sea sampling is always a challenge. He said, adding it was possible that the oxygen detected was trapped air bubbles. Okay. He was also skeptical about deep sea nodules, some tens of millions of years old, still producing enough electrical current when the batteries run out quickly. Oh, you don't know that you don't know what these rocks are. You don't know that they got that dog in them. How is it possible to maintain the capacity to generate electrical current in a nodule that is itself extremely slow to form? He asked. When contacted by AFP, Sweetman indicated that he was preparing a formal response. Don't worry about it. I'm in the lab.
That's what we're trying to find out, my guy.
These types of These types of backs and forth are common with scientific articles, and it moves the subject matter forward, he said. So he's saying, like, just wait. I got something to tuck. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. I got rocks that breathe.
Dude, that's what I'm immediately on the side of the people who found the rocks who are asserting this, because I'm like, if this other dude's out here to just fucking post up on them, it's like, fuck you, dude. Go find some rocks, man. Why don't you discover something? You know, what are you doing? You're a critic, bro. Stop being a critic.
I always love reading the articles. I mean, the comments on this Yahoo News stuff, because it's always like either everybody's agreeing with me, which I love, right? Like it's always I feel like Yahoo News is becoming the #1 news source for people like me, or they're just like completely stupid, which, you know, good overlap. But right here it's just somebody listing all the movies where people do deep sea drilling and it goes wrong. Deep Star 6, The Meg, Underwater. All I heard was Greenpeace excuses of made up science. It takes a lot of volts, and I doubt them rocks make that. Well, this guy's a hater. Anyway, one last science story before we move on to the dumb criminals. All right. An engineer says he's found a way to overcome Earth's gravity. Now, I read this and I didn't read any further, just like the other two stories. So I have no idea what he's going on about. But there was a very cool image. That's why I put this on the docket. Like, regardless of whether or not, like, they have found a way to overcome Earth's gravity, and I don't know why you would want to. Like, that's a cool looking thing. It looks like an owl. Looks like an owl with glasses on.
Yeah.
Or
a Mothman.
Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, it is. Yeah. Damn.
It also looks like kind of like a donut within a bigger donut, which makes me kind of hungry.
You fucking donut.
Discovering a machine in 2001, British electrical engineer Roger Scheuer first introduced the impossible drive, known as the M drive. Oh, in 2001, the M drive? That's it. It was called impossible because its creator purported that the drive was reactionless, meaning no propellant required. In other words, it defied the laws of physics, specifically the conservation of momentum. As with anything that appears to thumb its nose at Newton and Einstein, scientists raised more than a few eyebrows, and 2 decades of testing eventually boiled down to an inevitable and somewhat predictable conclusion in 2021. The M drive was bunk. But that's the nature of scientific method. Take the seemingly impossible idea, like maybe underwater rocks, I don't know, put it through rigorous testing, and hopefully get to an unassailable conclusion or new discoveries that lead in other directions. The not based in physics dream of propellantless machine, however, didn't die with the M drive. Instead, a new challenger approaches, and this one has a former NASA scientist backing it up. While at NASA, Charles Bueller helped establish the Electrostatics and Surface Physics Laboratory at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, a very important lab that basically ensures rockets don't explode. Now, as co-founder of the space company Exodus Propulsion Technologies, shout out to them, Bueller told the website Debrief that they've created a drive powered by a new force outside of our current known laws of physics. Given the propellantless drive, was that
love?
It's actually hope.
Oh shit!
But you know, those two things, you know, they work hand in hand, really.
Yeah. Are you sure there wasn't air bubbles in the meter when you're testing if it was love or hope?
It says they're powered by a quote new force outside of our current known laws of physics, giving the propellantless drive enough boost to overcome gravity. The most important message to convey to the public is that a major discovery occurred, Bueller told the Debrief. This discovery of the new force is fundamental in that the electric fields alone can generate a substantial force onto an object and allow a center of mass translation of said object without expelling mass. I love that this scientist guy is like, the important thing to understand that we need to tell everybody is that electric fields alone can generate sustainable force onto an object and allow a center of mass translation of said object without expelling mass. It's like, okay, yeah, everyone knows that now. We've all got it.
Yeah. You need Neil deGrasse Tyson to explain it to me. You know? That's
Charles Bueller's Takeoff.
Dio's
Crazy.
cooking
That's
it.
a crazy one, Dio.
It sounds like he's saying that typically you need some kind of a fuel source for propulsion, but they found a way around it, right? Like that's just like
the
very
new force.
yeah.
Farts.
The power of imagination.
Spite.
Bueller stressed that the work is unaffiliated with NASA. I can't stress this enough. I invented this. and that he recently presented his findings at the Alternative Propulsion Energy Conference, APEC, which is a club of engineers and enthusiasts eager to find new ways to overcome the limitations of gravity and physics, and not always with the most scientifically sound methods. In an interview with APEC's co-founder, Tim Ventura, Bueller explained how his background in electrostatics led to a discovery. He says that his team, made up of people at NASA, Blue Origin, and Air Force, investigated the propellantless drives for decades before arriving at electrostatics. For years, their devices produced negligible thrust, but saw increases with each new iteration. This culminated in 2023, when this, quote, new force-powered drive generated enough thrust to overcome Earth's gravity. Essentially...
Real quick, it's got me thinking about like the fact that there's a guy who's like specialty is like making sure rockets don't explode, and then they're like on the cutting edge of all this stuff, and they're actually talking in scientific terms. This is like what Elon Musk like wants to be.
Yeah.
This is what he thinks he's doing. Yeah,
this is what he thinks he's doing.
He thinks he's him, dude. That's great.
Yeah. He really thinks he's Charles Bueller.
What he would do is just buy out this company and be like, I invented that.
Yeah. Well, you don't hear SpaceX in this at all, right? It's all NASA, and
it's NASA, Blue Origin, his own company, Air Force.
Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out. Big shout out to any kind of stuff like this that's done without SpaceX, because fuck them. Like, I don't know, was it on the show last year where we were talking about how like there was like mysterious swirls in I think Washington, and like people didn't know what it was, and it turned out it was like jet fuel from like a SpaceX thing, and it was like frozen. And
I think it was in Australia or something, wasn't it?
It was somewhere.
It was last week, right?
It was last week, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like imagine if you could launch into space without the need for that, like
spilling fuel all over the place,
mining rocket fuel, like creating rocket fuel and then like shooting it into space. Or like even smaller, if like you could, I don't know, power a small vehicle with that without needing I mean, like I'm just saying, like I don't know how this works, obviously, but like,
I think you could like build a truck that doesn't have the fucking side panels rip off as you're going down the highway.
Whatever this new force is, it's like this is like it's powerful enough to get out of Earth's atmosphere, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Essentially, what we've discovered is that systems that contain an asymmetry in either electrostatic pressure or some kind of electrostatic divergent field can give a system of a center of mass a non-zero force component, Bueller told the debrief. So what that basically means is that there's some underlying physics that can essentially place force on an object should those two constraints be met. Obviously, Bueller's claims are pretty whoa if true, but the history of propellantless drives is filled with seemingly positive results that are eventually dashed upon the rocks of scientific reality. For the M drive, hopes of the device skyrocketed after NASA's EagleWorks team, which is dedicated to the investigation of new forms of propulsion, i.e. warp drives, claimed to measure the thrust from the Impossible drive in 2016. However, subsequent studies, including an exhaustive, no pun intended, one at Dresden University of Technology, found zero thrust. Before any alternative propulsion enthusiast should start popping corks, rigorous third-party research will have to verify the results again and again. While it's not impossible that Bueller et al. Stumbled upon some unknown quirk of physics, it is an extremely unlikely outcome. For now, let's call it an improbable engine. No, I'm calling it the fucking what he said it is, the new force. I'm a new force guy. That's me.
Can we buy stock in that?
Was that?
I know the stock market's down, but can we buy stock in that?
I'm buying stock in the underground rocks and in the new force.
I'm putting it all in the orb, baby.
Oh yeah,
the orb.
Put it all in the orb.
No, I've left the orb so long ago. Like that was literally nothing, and we found two marvels of physics here. Dio says, "Would be funny if this was the stuff Terrence Howard was calculating."
This is that shit that was flying over New Jersey, man. That Ibrahim was getting sent videos of.
Oh yeah, we never really got to the bottom of that, did we?
I'm telling you, we just figured it out. We just cracked the case just now.
Shit.
You know what? One more science news story. Oh wait, no, this is old. Never mind. I was gonna read one that I had in my thing, but it was from like 2021. It was about 3D printed steaks, like meat that was 3D printed. Crazy, but old news.
That sounds disgusting.
Okay. So this isn't really a crime story, but it's a dog story, which we love. So this is in Juneau, Alaska. In the days before wildfires devastated the LA area, a formerly stray dog named Jackie lucked into a new life. She was rescued from an overburdened shelter in LA County, where she faced possible euthanasia, and given a home far away in Juneau, Alaska. But Jackie didn't stay long. The German Shepherd Husky mix slipped her collar on the first day with her new family in mid-February and absconded to a pocket of forest. Since then, she has been living by her wits, eluding a trap that was set with food such as cheeseburgers or chicken by animal control workers and volunteers worried about her. I just love that they were like, we got to get this dog. What if we just put like a bunch of chicken and hamburgers in a cage? The thing is, like, that would get me if I was walking, like they would catch me.
Pretty easily.
The forest. Go ahead.
Pretty easily. Yeah, I'd walk right in.
It's just
right.
just a cardboard box with a stick holding it up with a string.
I mean, it literally is that. Though. They showed up.
I feel like that motherfucker on Popeye who loves hamburgers. Like, ooh, hamburger.
You walk around talking about you gladly pay them on Tuesday for a hamburger today and shit.
That's Blimpy, no?
Oh, look at that dog.
Yeah, look at the trap. It's just like literally like one of those cages with like a tarp over it and like a string. So if it goes in, it's just like get it.
That's awesome. She's out here living life for weeks, dude.
Yeah, just fucking rolling around.
She was. I mean, who knows? Like sometimes they come back really emaciated, but she looks pretty good there.
I love that she keeps coming around it though. She just like won't be fooled by the chicken and burgers.
Yeah, they're smart, dude.
The forested area Jackie frequents. Wait, hold on. The forested area Jackie frequents is near a busy road. Further, black bears are starting to reemerge from hibernation, raising the potential that the dog could have an unfortunate run-in. Volunteers have stopped putting out food and cat kibble to avoid attracting bears. Maybe this is what she wants, is to be free and feral like this, said Tom Young Bayer, the Juneau animal control officer. I love that he's like, this is hard. Maybe this is what she wants. Maybe who am I to play God? Like, maybe we just have to let the dog just do what the dog wants. It's not a safe way for her to live here. Young Bayer and his wife Skylar have been searching in their free time, often at night, for a skittish canine, painstakingly trying to build trust with her. Jackie has been known to burrow into soft moss on the forest floor for cover and to avoid looking directly into young Bayer's headlamps, making it hard to detect her eyes in the dark.
Ramon, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you might want to know this. LeBron is hurt.
Oh no, what happened?
He took a dive and he's on the ground and he's in pain. They haven't shown a replay yet.
The situation.
I will.
We go live now to our sports correspondent, Tony Gregori. Tony, what news do you have from the Lakers game?
Wow! Whammy!
As he normally does, just get up and act like nothing happened after a few minutes of crying.
Let's see.
He's a flop.
I think he got the wind knocked out of him. He ran into somebody, and he just fell on the ground, and he rolled around, but he looked real fucked up. I think he got the wind knocked out of him. I think his hand went into his stomach.
Okay. So, on videos, Tom Young Bayer has taken with his infrared camera, Jackie's heat signature resembles something out of the movie Predator. I love that they're doing all of this work, and they can't catch this dog. Like, they know where it is. They have fucking Predator technology. They have hamburgers, chickens, and cages, and, like, this dog is, like, eluding them.
Can't be tamed, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Keep on rocking in the free world, Jackie.
Yeah.
On a recent day, young Bear caught a fleeting glimpse of Jackie in the lush forest, her dark coat helping camouflage her movements among the stumps and roots. He surveyed the undergrowth and surroundings, but came up empty, as did a nearby trap he had been monitoring for weeks. When young Bear returned to the trail, where a fellow animal control officer had been waiting, he learned Jackie had trotted past on a frozen pond. This dog is uncontrollable, dude. Lately, young Bear has been encouraging Jackie on every visit. Young Bear says that's progress. Weeks ago, if Jackie saw someone, she would flee. He and his wife aren't trying to sneak up on the dog and want to help her feel safe, he said. Dude, like, shout out to these people. They really seem to love this fucking dog. Because if it was me, I'd be like, oh, damn. I guess the dog did just want to be free.
Did they adopted it and it ran off? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. They adopted it from California and they adopted it to
Alaska. Right?
To Alaska. Yeah.
The dog was like, it's too
but I think
cold.
it was
I'm trying to be here.
It's trying to do like homeward bound, but it doesn't know how to get back.
Homeward bound, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to that dog.
Juneau Animal Rescue, a local pet adoption agency that also handles animal control and protective services, has asked that people who see Jackie report their sightings. Given the dog's skittishness, officials want to limit those searching for her. Little is known about Jackie's history. She was brought into a California shelter as a stray in early January, days before the deadly wildfire swept through LA area. She is believed to be 2 to 3 years old. Her intake forms listed her as quiet with a moderate anxiety and stress level. Skylar Young Bear, who has volunteered with rescue groups in that region, helped arrange for Jackie and 2 other dogs at risk of being euthanized. I thought I said at risk to be euthanized. I was like, oh, no. It was going to be, and they said no. To be transferred to Juneau for adoption. Jackie was with a foster home before her adoption placing. Other dogs have gained fame as fugitives, including Scrim, a 17-pound, mostly terrier mutt who was captured in New Orleans in February in a cat trap after months on the lam. Mike Mazuk, Animal Control and Protection Director for Juneau Animals Rescue, noted that Jackie didn't have much time to bond with her new family before bolting. Officers deemed trying to tranquilize her as too risky because they didn't know if she'd be able to find her once she was sedated. Mazok accompanied Tom Young Bear to the forest last week to disassemble the trap when Jackie came within 50 feet of Mazok on a frozen pond. Mazok snapped a photo of her as she appeared between the skinny, tall trees. He called the efforts to capture her a battle of wills. She is not willing to give up, and we're not willing to give up either, said Mazok. That's beautiful. I hope they catch that like white whale of a dog.
How long did it say she's been out there?
I don't remember. I just closed it. I think it's like a month or something.
I mean, yeah, after a certain point, it's like squatters' rights. Like she just gets, it's like, hey man, she's doing it. She's surviving, you know, like maybe she's just a wild dog.
I mean, it's been since mid-February.
Wow.
And it's now April.
That's a determined dog, dude. My old dog was like that. She was like, she would only she'd run from anyone but my wife, like when, you know, she first got her and stuff. Yeah. Eventually, you know, she warmed up to me and she was my little baby, but like she went on a fucking, like, my wife's old roommate took her with her to like a friend's house and she got out and ran for miles. Like they like literally had to, like, the dude who lived there, like, it was like a Sunday and they were like drinking mojitos or mimosas and he fucking like chased her in flip-flops like for like a couple miles, and she ended up at like the port of Portland, and they had to like one of the like official security vehicles had to like take them to the dog, like, you know, and try to like chase her down, and she's just like running on like this vast parking lot where they bring in like cars, you know, that are imported and stuff.
Yeah,
it was wild.
Or they used to bring in cars that were imported.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, missing dogs is such like an anxious thing, or like cats, or any pet, when like you just don't know where it is. Like one time we got so lucky where like we had a cat, well, my parents have a cat, and they on like Halloween it like escaped out the door like when somebody was like passing out candy or something, and then it would like it got like real stormy, and like it was just gone for days. Like we thought, oh, like it's just gone. Like that's sad. It sucks so bad, you know. Like it was a kitten, and then like somebody on Facebook randomly posted that they had found the cat because it had like a collar on it, and then my brother's girlfriend at the time had seen it on her Facebook. Super random, barely knows the person. It was like a friend of a friend, and she goes, "Hey, is this your guys' cat?" And we were like, "Holy shit, that is!" Like went and grabbed her and shit. But it was wild, especially because I feel like cats are not like high value animals as dogs. You know what I mean? Like I know some people love their cats, but like, you know, I feel like if a cat runs away, like people don't care as much if like a dog runs away.
Well, cats are so much more independent, you know.
Yeah,
like,
There's a lot more like indoor, outdoor cats.
Yeah, they just roam and eventually.
Dogs are very human dependent. That's why this dog is so crazy, because it's like normally a dog would like, oh, I have a human that I can like, you know, cohabitate with. They love that shit. You know, that's what they're bred.
Dude, my dog, he's like he wakes us up every morning. Now that it's getting lighter out earlier, he gets up before the alarm because the sun wakes him up, and then he just like wakes us up. He'll stand there and you'll hear him wagging his tail and it's hitting the wall and stuff, and he goes until we get up.
That's what this one does.
It's just like
this one. I'll sleep. She wakes me up every morning at like 10 a.m., 10:30, and so I'll sleep, and I just wake up to like crying and like pawing at me, you know, just wanting to wake me up.
Our old dog, she used to like literally dive bomb onto me to like wake me up to like feed her and stuff. Yeah, cats don't.
Cats.
Well, my sister's cats do that kind of shit though.
Whenever I house sit for my sister, she has a dog and a cat, so I feed them both, right? And I would go to like the dog, and the dog is like on me the entire time. It's like this motherfucker like wants to like put his head around me, like, and like they don't like it when he does that with them. So I'm kind of like, I don't want him to think it's okay. So I'm like, oh, go lay down, Max, you know, whatever. But like the cat, I will have been there for a full week, and I'll be like, I still haven't seen this fucking cat. Like I think it's eating its food. I think, but I don't know. Like, and like I was there for like a full week, and I thought maybe the cat just ran away, and I don't know. You know, like I filled the bowl once, and that was it. But the dog, yeah, I'm just with it the entire time.
Yeah, he just wants somebody to hang out with, the dog.
Yeah, well, shout out to cats and dogs. I don't mean to put one above the other. I just noticed that when I'm walking, I always see like lost dog, you know, but I never see like, well, randomly I'll see a lost cat, but like I feel like that's like a last ditch effort. Like we're probably not going to find this cat type situation.
Man, you know how many fucking times, you guys know, I tell you about it, like how many times I'm dealing with people's loose dogs that I'm saving from fucking running into traffic and shit around here where I live. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I can't rest. Like I can't, it's not even my animals, like, you know, but if I know it's there or that it needs help, like I can't not do anything. Like my sister's cat that we rescued out of that tree, like it wasn't her cat. It was a kitten, 3 months old. It was 75 feet up in a Doug fir. And I spent all day trying to get it rescued. Finally found somebody who could climb trees to get cats out of trees. And, you know, there was a cop right down the street, and I went to him and I was like, hey, can you call like the fire department? And he's like, no, they won't send any resources out for that. And I'm like, so you knew this cat was here? He's like, I'm aware. I was like, I guess you don't want the easiest fucking PR stunt of your life, of your career. Cop rescues kitten from tree, you know, like I guess keep sitting there, dude.
We got this little dog in a neighborhood that's always in and out of its house. And when I first moved in the neighborhood like 6 years ago, I was like, one day I was walking with Dory, and we were walking home, and this dog was just barking at us and following us. So I'm like, damn, where's this dog live? Where's this dog live? And I was walking around with it, and finally, like this UPS guy had just pulled up. He's like, oh yeah, that dog lives right there. He's always outside. I'm like, oh,
dude, I can't imagine.
Like, dog just ran right into the house.
Do you ever not know where Dory is?
No,
ever?
She's always A couple times Shula got loose, you know, because he got like a door was open, and he was like, oh, what's that out there? And he got away. And it wasn't because he was running away. He just was like, a door was open and he went outside, and I wasn't home. And both times whoever found him took him to the called animal control, and they took him to the pound. And I just went and picked him up, you know. But like, it wasn't because like I didn't know where it was. It was just because like where I left him wasn't secure, you know. But this one, she ain't going nowhere. She's like,
Dude, I trained my dog. He doesn't even the door can be wide open. He won't step out unless he is given the okay at this point, like, because just where I live, people drive like crazy, man, and like,
Yeah.
And there's also loose dog. I mean, half time I got to worry that a dog's gonna run up on us when we're just walking around,
Yeah. Yeah, the only time she's off leash when she's outside is like around my building, because I got a lot of grass and yards and shit around.
Well,
So
she's
she'll like
so
walk
little
around.
too. You
Yeah.
could just scoop her up. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and she walks around with me, and we go, and she knows all the animals in the neighborhood. She's friendly with everybody, Like every once in a while, a stranger will walk through, and I'll scoop her up. But for the most part, it's always like friendly other cats and dogs.
So speaking of people being lost and found, a Peruvian fisherman was saved after 3 months stranded at sea.
oh wow,
Yeah, a
that's
Peruvian
a long
fisherman.
time, dude.
Dude, can you imagine?
Good thing he knew how to
3 months.
fish, huh?
Well, here, listen to this though, because he didn't survive by eating fish.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Where's this
A
going?
Peruvian fisherman was found alive after drifting at sea for 94 days, a Navy official said Saturday, as he was discharged from the hospital following his ordeal. Maximo Napa, 61-year-old guy, was rescued in his small fishing boat on Tuesday after being spotted by an Ecuadorian vessel off the coast of Chimbote in northern Peru. He told local media in a tearful interview that he survived at sea by eating cockroaches, birds, and a turtle.
What the fuck?
This man was living, dude. That's crazy.
Did he have water? How did he?
No idea. He might have had to drink something else.
Yeah, for real.
I didn't want to die.
Dude.
I didn't want to die for my mother. I have a 2-month-old granddaughter. I clung to that. Every day I thought about my mother, Napa said. On Saturday, he was discharged from the hospital in the coast of Paita. Mr. Napa arrived in good physical condition. He could walk, wash himself. Shocked, but in good physical condition, said Peruvian Navy port captain Jorge Gonzalez. The fisherman had set sail on December 7th from the port of San Juan de Marcano, but bad weather conditions and the current caused him to lose course. His small boat, which had no radio beacon, ended up on the high seas. It's a miracle that my father has been found, his daughter Inez Napa told the RPP radio station. We, as a family, never gave up hope on finding him. I think that's crazy that he was like, he has a daughter, a granddaughter, and he's like, I was really just thinking about my mom the whole time. Might have a wife, we don't know, but he's like, really, it was all about my mom.
Yeah.
Dude, my Peruvian fisherman won't set foot out of the house unless I tell him he can, dude.
Eating a turtle is playing in the hardest difficulty. Is it though? I feel like you
No
could just
doubt,
scoop
dude.
out. I feel like you could just scoop out the meaty parts of it.
Yeah.
I
Gotta
don't
get
know.
in
I've
there.
never eaten a
Probably.
turtle.
Yeah. What kind of boat did he have? I guess was it
Just
like
a little fishing boat, right? Like
Just
it's
a little
probably just a
fishing boat,
little.
yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah, imagine 3 months. It's crazy.
How long was Tom Hanks on that island?
Maybe longer.
It was like 4 years, I think, in the movie.
Yeah. He had a whole island. This motherfucker just had a boat.
Yeah.
This is the guy. Is it showing?
He comes back. He's like, tariffs.
Oh, look at him.
Look at him.
Damn,
Swaggy mullet.
Look at that, like, Navy chick. What a
Yeah.
babe.
That's what I'm looking at.
What a great
He's
thing
like,
to come back to.
He's like, it's been 3 months.
He's like, oh, it's so hard. It was so tough. You wouldn't want to hear more about it, would you?
You ever had turtle?
I cook up to be real good.
They say I could last 90 days at sea.
90-day seaman.
Got stamina, baby.
Speaking of people on boats, an American danger tourist who models himself on Tintin, the comic book character, faces up to 5 years in prison after illegally sailing to a remote island and leaving a can of Coke for the world's most dangerous and isolated tribe. Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov, 24, from North Goldwater, Arizona, tried to make contact with the reclusive indigenous inhabitants of North Sentinel Island, part of the Indian archipelago in the Bay of Bengal, which is off limits to visitors to protect the islanders' way of life. Indian police said that Mr. Polyakov traveled to the island in the early hours of Saturday morning using a makeshift raft to cross a 25-mile strait from Kurmadera Beach to South Andaman Island. This is it. This is the last uncontracted tribe, the last mystery. If they see me, will they attack or will they accept me? His GoPro camera microphone recorded him whispering as he approached the forbidden island. After landing, he briefly stepped out of the boat, left a can of Coca-Cola and a coconut as offering, collected some sand samples, and then departed. He returned to Kurmadera Beach at 7 p.m., where fishermen spotted him and alerted the police. He was arrested and remains in custody. Hargo Binder Singh Dayawal, Director General of Andaman and Nicobar Police, said, if found guilty, he may face 3 to 5 years in prison. If found guilty, it sounds like he recorded himself doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That motherfucker's guilty.
Why can't this guy get lost at sea, dude?
Yeah, for real.
He may face 3 to 5 years in prison for breaking the law that prohibits unauthorized entry into areas inhabited by protected tribes of North Sentinel Island. Salt says men would rather intrude on a forbidden island than go to therapy. This was not Mr. Polyakov's first attempt to reach the Sentinelese, a pre-Neolithic people who have rebuffed all contact with the modern world, firing bows and arrows at passing helicopters and killing those that land ashore. In October 2024, he prepared a reconnaissance mission using an inflatable kayak, but was stopped by hotel staff before he could launch. In the same month, he posted a cryptic image on his YouTube channel captioned, "A little Columbus Day teaser for fans." What a piece of shit, man.
A little Easter egg for the fans, dude.
Yeah, you know, this tribe, they got that dog in them.
There's something kind of tight about this. Is like, nah, we don't bother them, dude. They fucking kill everybody.
Yeah, leave them alone.
With just bows and arrows, and they managed to like. I need to start doing that around here.
Here's the people right here. The closest images we have of them.
That's awesome.
That's as close as you want to get.
And then here's the guy.
Exactly
as you would expect.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is going on?
Here was the boat that he had. The image, a cartoon in the style of Adventures of Tintin, showed a boy with a dog aboard a motorboat approaching the island resembling the one home to the Sentinelese. Mr. Polyakov's YouTube channel, called Neo-Orientalist, revealed other risky adventures, including exploring an abandoned U.S. military base in Afghanistan. In another video taken during the 3-week road trip in the Taliban-controlled country, he is seen brandishing an assault rifle alongside Islamist militants. This dude is like, he truly is an adventurist. I'll give him that, you know?
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at his fucking face. Was I not supposed to do that? Was that wrong? I didn't know that I wasn't allowed.
I'm not going to feel bad when something happens to him, but, you know, shout out.
In January, he returned home. He returned to the Andaman archipelago, staying in the city of Port Blair while attempting to procure an outboard motor for a boat to make illicit crossing. Around the time he visited Baratang Island, where he illegally filmed the semi-nomadic Jarawa tribe before departing on January 27th. In March, he returned to Port Blair. After fitting a motor to his boat at a workshop, he purchased fuel and checked into the Andaman Sunset View Resort. Over the following days, he meticulously studied sea conditions, tides, and landing sites for the journey. On March 29th, he launched the boat under the cover of darkness, carrying the coconut and Coca-Cola he intended to give to the island's inhabitants. After 9 hours at sea, he reached its northeastern shore. Using binoculars, he scanned the area but saw no signs of life. He then filmed himself wading onto the beach and placing his offerings on the sand. In the video, later recovered by police, captured him exclaiming, "I have landed here. I am a solo traveler. No one has landed here before. This is anticlimactic. No one has done this before." He remained offshore for an hour blowing a whistle in an attempt to attract attention, but received no response. After 3 hours, he began his return journey, reaching Kermadera Beach by 7 p.m., where he was spotted by fishermen. Authorities said he used GPS to navigate the seas around the island, they said. After the arrest on March 31st, authorities confiscated Mr. Polyakov's passport, mobile phone, and GoPro camera. The unauthorized entry into the northern Sentinel Island is not just a breach of Indian law, but a serious threat to the safety of both the Sentinelese and the individuals involved, Mr. Dwally said. Any unlawful attempt to restrict the tribes will be met with strict legal consequences. Mr. Polyakov told police that he was drawn to the island due to his passion for adventure. Oh, you don't get it. I just love adventure. And his desire to undertake extreme challenges, as well as by the allure of the mysterious Sentinelese. Theo said this is what Frederick Wordham warned about for comics, but for Tintin.
This motherfucker thinks he's India Jones.
The crazy things about it to me is like, again, like he's just doing this for content. Like it's like he's going through all this trouble to get a video, and once he gets there, he just like, will somebody come out? And like, if they would have seen him, they probably would have shot him with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, they would have killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the bow and
like you said, like no one's done this before. No one's been here. It's like, no, motherfuckers live there. Like, what are you talking
You're not
about?
supposed to go there.
Yeah.
It's explicitly forbidden by the law. That's why nobody does it.
You're not terraforming Mars. Like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in his channel. What is it said? The Neo
It's like a
list, whatever. That sounds kind of crazy. That sounds like a racist thing.
yeah, it really does. The whole Columbus Day shit was really off-putting.
Also, like Tintin is like kind of a racist comic.
Is it? I saw the Spielberg movie. I thought it was pretty good. Cartoon.
There's like when they show tribes in there, there are like sort of blackface stuff.
Yeah, I know people who are really into that comic, like comic people, and I always look at them sideways and like, wow, that's weird. Why are you so into Tintin, man?
Yeah, I think there's one we both know that comes to mind for me. Who shall not be named.
Yeah. Right. He's doing all that and he's only got 620 subscribers.
Dude, he's not even monetized.
He's not even monetized, bro. Like, granted, he's got more subscribers than us, unfortunately. But we're not going to Afghanistan to hang out with the Taliban. Look at him.
We were all in bed. I'm wearing sweatpants, man. I'm not even.
He's got a lot of views on those videos, but
that's crazy. People are like, I'll watch your video, but I'm not gonna subscribe to you.
I'm not gonna subscribe.
If an imperialist lands on an island and there's no one around to hear it, did he really land on the island?
Yeah, for real. So if he gets all those views but he doesn't have subscribers, he doesn't get monetized.
Nope. You gotta have 1,000 subscribers before you reach a threshold of getting monetization. So like, if he had 1,000 subscribers, like you don't make any more money if you have 1,000 versus 1 million. You just get paid off of the views on the video. So I mean, if you have 1 million subscribers, obviously you'll get more views, so you get paid more in that sense. But like, he could have a video that does 5 million views. If he's only got 500 followers, he's not getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And if you get a video that pops off and you get like a bunch of subscribers, it's like, well, all those views were pre-subscribers, so you don't get shit?
Nothing.
That's crazy. That pissed me off. Like he did all this. He went through fucking Afghanistan, hung out with the Taliban, and like, I mean, look, they seem chill, But like, I'm not even saying he put himself in danger, but like, because I don't know how he's acting with them. Like, he could be like a Logan Paul type, being annoying or whatever. He could just be hella tight. He could just be a tight ass dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to give him a view, so I'm not going to watch the video. But he could be hella tight. We don't know. He doesn't look like it. He doesn't act like it.
No.
But to go to jail for 5 years for a YouTube video that's not monetized is kind of crazy.
He's not even getting any money to put on his fucking on his commissary, dude. That's crazy.
You imagine his dad back home in Arizona. It's like, he has some crazy Russian name. So actually, he'd probably be a crazy Russian himself, or Ukrainian. I think I read he was. Like, he would be like, oh, I can't believe my fucking idiot son is doing this shit again. Like, I keep telling him, don't go hang out with the Taliban. He don't listen. Salt says, the ultimate, you don't even go here. Speaking of people that are annoying to their fathers, a man was arrested early a Wednesday morning after police say he drove his father's car into the ocean on Jacksonville Beach. Joshua Cuss, 21, was taken to the Duval County Jail on a charge of criminal mischief. Shout out to Duval. On a charge of criminal mischief, according to the Jacksonville Police Department. Officers were called to the 2000 block of Beach Proper North about a car in the ocean. Officers responded, making sure no one was in or around the car. No one in or around the car was in distress. Then ran the tag to find out who the car belonged to. They went to the home of Cuss's father, who said that he had allowed Cuss to borrow his car and he hadn't returned it. Officers located Cuss after his father pinged his phone. Cuss drove the car to the 2000 block of Beach Proper North entrance and initially attempted to use a cinder block to send the car into the ocean. But the block kept getting stuck on the brake, the report said. My dumbass kid can't even drive my car into the ocean right, dude. And meanwhile, this guy's dumbass kid is hanging out with the damn Taliban? That ain't right. That's Florida education for you.
Oh God, can't argue it.
He then removed the block. Got into the driver's seat, turned on all the lights, and ensured that no one was nearby was accelerating. Made sure no one was nearby before accelerating the vehicle into the ocean, the report said. The report said while driving, he grinned and wished he could point his middle finger at his father and aunt.
It's like the righteous gemstone shit. It's like
Cuss then got out of the car and returned to his mother's house, the report said.
Like nothing happened. Sky rules.
Yeah, here, I'll show you a pic of the guy.
I have an image in my head. I hope he lives up to it.
He's just like a regular ass dude. Look at him. This is definitely the type of dude who drives his dad's car into the ocean, flipping them off. Flipping them off, they couldn't even see it. They weren't even anywhere around.
I bet he loves like Tech 9 or something. He's like that kind of guy.
So one more story about Florida. This one has a video component, so let's pray that my connection is stable here.
You're making me homesick.
I know. Woman confronts boys fishing, points long gun at them. Women charged with pointing a weapon at 2 kids near her property.
Dude, you understand how many of these stupid videos I've watched of like YouTube shorts of people fishing and either having like wardens or neighbors telling them they can't fish there and calling the police on them. And I don't know why I'm addicted to it.
See the video.
Goes in your backyard, you can blow their heads off. I have a right to protect my property and my house.
I don't think that's true, though. I don't think you do have a right to blow somebody's head off if they're fishing near your backyard.
Heads off. I have a right to protect my property and my house.
A Fox 35 exclusive now. This woman accused of holding 2 teenagers at gunpoint. She called 911 on them, but she's the one who ended up in cuffs. Now,
she called the cops on them.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, these 2 little bastards are fishing by my house. Obviously, I pointed a gun at them and told them to get on the fucking ground. Don't worry, they filmed it. You could see it all.
That woman claimed that the teens were trespassing. It's a story you will only see right here on Fox 35.
Yeah, the boys tell Fox 35 that they were trying to do a little fishing behind the homes. And Fox 35's Stephanie Buff-Monty spoke to one of the teens.
Shout out to Fox 35 and how the people keep saying Fox 35.
Who caught this whole thing on camera.
The 8th grader tells me he's still shaken up. He says he was near a pond with his friends to go fishing when the next thing he...
By the way, this chick looked like she got like wide shoulders, like she fucking like knocked somebody the fuck out. Am I wrong? Does she look like she could like fuck someone up?
I think it might partially be the cut of her top, but
yeah,
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad. She looks healthy, strong, and beautiful. It's a Megan Bain looking.
Pointing a gun at them. That move landed her right here in the Brevard County
Jail. She pointing her guns right there.
You can blow their heads off. I have a right to protect my property and my house. So you ain't coming back. Ever.
The frightening moments that had 15-year-old Braden and his friend scared for their lives. Braden says the Melbourne woman told them multiple times she was going to blow their heads off.
She said that she was going to blow our brains out and saying that if we didn't listen to her, then she would shoot.
So crazy.
Like, what is wrong with fucking people? Especially white people. What is wrong with us?
That she was going to blow her head off.
The 8th graders went to a pond near Royston Lane in Melbourne to go fishing. Braden says the woman who lives near the pond walked out of her backyard pointing a long black pellet gun at them. Did you know it was a pellet gun at the time, or in your...
Imagine getting arrested for threatening to kill 2 kids with a pellet gun. And you're like a grown-ass woman, dude.
Yeah. Ah, damn.
In her head, this is a real gun that she could shoot and kill you.
In my head, I thought it was a real gun. She was going to shoot us and kill us. And the fact that she was saying she was going to blow our head off, you can't do that with a pellet gun. So I really thought it was real.
You can see in this photo, Donna Elkins was standing over them with the long gun. Deputies say Elkins ordered them to get on the ground. Braden already had a broken arm at the time from falling off his electric bike before this, but got down quickly. That's when the 59-year-old called 911, saying there were 2 boys in her backyard fishing. She told the dispatcher she, quote, petrified them, and went on to...
Like, don't worry, I have them terrified for their life right now. Easy pickings for you guys if you want to come over here and rough them up a bit. They're like, what?
What's wrong?
These are the crazy type of motherfuckers who think that they're like deputized, dude. I got him, officer. Come on, I got him all hogtied. All ready for you.
Say she had, quote, stopped them and they were laying on the ground.
When she came out, I was just trying to do whatever she said, just hoping she would not shoot us.
According to property lines, the teens were 30 feet off her property and not in her backyard. Elkins was arrested and booked in the...
Weren't even on her property.
Weren't even on her property. Like Jesus Christ.
It's incredible.
Brevard County Jail on 2 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 2...
I thought in Florida they give you medals for doing stuff like this, though. I thought you were like they just made you the chief of police when you do this.
Well, what you're leaving out is these are white kids, so.
Oh, true.
Charges of false imprisonment. As you can see, Braden didn't want to go on camera, but still wanted to share what happened in hopes that it doesn't happen again.
What she did was wrong. It's just been on my mind for the past couple of days. It's been hard to sleep and stuff.
Elkins has bonded out of jail. Reporting in Brevard County, Stephanie Buffamonte, Fox 35 News.
She definitely is Buffamonte.
She even has Buff in her name. That's tight.
That's crazy. But yeah, crazy ass story.
But she was all fucking pilled out too. You know,
yeah,
a couple of boxes of wine down. You know,
the way she was gesticulating was just like crazy.
To what's going on in the financial markets today?
Definitely on some shit.
It's
to be expected.
It wouldn't stop. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. Shout out Florida.
But yeah,
my native land.
Shout out to Florida. You know what? Shout out to Georgia.
Man, I am today.
Shout out to Georgia. I got a story here about a Georgia sorority girl. Now, not like other people where, you know, we're just throwing out. Me and Tony were reading this story, Ibrahim, about this girl who goes to what college, Tony?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. She goes to Ole Miss, and like on ESPN, they were Pat McAfee, like one of the biggest hosts on the network, just starts going, "Oh, did you hear about this girl? She had a threesome with her boyfriend's dad." And like she didn't, but he pointed out this like rumor that was going around on like some sort of other, like apparently there's another social media platform called Yik Yak. me and Tony were like discovering, well, Tony, you knew about it already, but we were discovering like just this world of like college students that is just like so foreign. But she was going viral on Yik Yak, and then it went over to Twitter. Pat McAfee saw it and decided to like put her whole information out there. And she's like now suing ESPN and Pat McAfee because she'd been getting like death threats. Her boy, like her family's been getting harassed. And she's like mind you, was just a person that somebody decided to spread a rumor that she fucked her boyfriend's dad.
That's
and
so
she's
crazy.
just like, I didn't do any of that. Like, this is crazy. Like, what the fuck? And like, you know, they didn't just like post it. Like, they didn't just talk about it on TV. It was like during when they would talk about like, oh, this quarterback, like, what's his time? You know, like, what's he running? Like, how much is this guy bench pressing? Like when they were doing like scouting combine stuff, he just starts talking like for no reason about a girl having a three-way with her boyfriend's dad.
Meanwhile, there's like they're in the stadium, and there's a guy like running in his shorts, getting timed in front of them. Like,
there's like another ESPN reporter that's like, so what does this have to do with that guy?
Yeah, what about Jackson Dart?
Yeah, what about Jackson Dart? Like, what? I don't understand. And like the guy just like in his own world, like talking to the other hosts, like about how this girl's like banging.
Yeah, well, Jackson Dart goes to Ole Miss, so I think maybe that's where were pinged in his brain. Oh, Ole Miss! I saw a thing online about Ole Miss, about a threesome. Let me regurgitate this on ESPN in front of millions of people.
That's wild, dude.
It just made me think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying that poor girl. I hope she gets millions.
Yeah, it made me think about how like we live in this weird like world now where like people can say things about you, could be completely untrue or true, whatever, and like it could just spin so fast out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's like, especially in her case, she's just some random like college girl, you know, like had nothing to do with anything and was just like, oh, like I heard she fucked her dad's or her boyfriend's dad, and it's just like, oh great, now the entire world that you just put on like ESPN, the most watched show on ESPN, like second most or whatever, like now all these people think I had sex with like this random dude, you know, like this guy who I'm dating his dad. It was crazy, like so like
that's got to be a pretty clear cut case for defamation, right?
I don't know though, because I don't know how defamation works for a lot of like, because I've been, you know, I hear about this stuff a lot, like just somebody wants to sue somebody like for defamation. Her case, I think, would be that it did genuinely like cause her emotional distress, which that's like the easiest one to prove, or like, you know, whatever, say that you have. But like, it's kind of hard to say that she had any financial losses from it, which I think you need for defamation. And it also like you need to prove like intent to harm, I think, for defamation.
I think also she's not a public figure, so
that's the other thing. She's not a public figure, so like she's somewhat safeguarded from a lot of that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's definitely like a thing where it's like, you know, like you for as many stories as there are of like the Hawk Tua girl, where they take this person who's like not a public figure and they like raise her to become this like media sensation. Like this girl didn't want that. She was just like being a normal person.
Yeah, but at the very least, she did at least agree to be doing an interview on camera. So you're
right. Yeah.
This other girl didn't even like do that, you know, which is like, this is like some shit.
Going to college.
Yeah, this is like probably shit that happens all the time back in like, it's forever where people talk shit about each other on college campuses, and now with social media, they just,
everywhere.
Yeah, you know? Everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
There's probably a case that could be made that like the duress or the distress or whatever, and the fact that she's in college, like paying a tuition, and like it hurts her classes and stuff. She might be able to get some kind of monetary stuff based on that.
Yeah, she had classes. The whole thing was like pretty fucked.
Yeah, you know, ESPN will just settle to get it out of the way. They're like, hey, here's, you know, you want to take $200,000 or whatever.
And poor girl.
Leave us alone.
But speaking of college students, a viral Georgia sorority girl with a glamour mugshot got arrested again. So apparently, in the same world that like we're just not a part of, where like sorority girls just go viral every other week, apparently, one of them, Lily Stewart, a University of Georgia sophomore, was arrested for the second time in a month. So what we know, Lily Stewart, a 20-year-old sophomore Alpha Chi Omega sorority girl from UGA, was arrested for the second time in a month over the weekend. Stewart was taken into custody by UGA police and booked with the Athens-Clarke County Jail just before 5:30 a.m. on Sunday. According to jail records, she was picked up for loitering and prowling and obstructing law enforcement officers. Both are misdemeanors. In the early morning hours of March 23rd, UGA police responded to an intrusion alarm at the Tate Center on Baxter Street. According to field case report, campus security cameras showed 2 males and 2 females entering the building through the secured exterior stairwell door after hours. Officers later identified the individuals as UGA students Peyton Drewer and Lily Stewart. Extremely like white names, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
visitors Whitaker Tolman and Seamus Gilmartin.
Okay.
Like, lock them all up.
Right. Whitaker Stolen, is that his name?
Whitaker Tolman.
Tolman. His parents are a fucking golf shirt and like a Starbucks latte, dude. That's crazy.
Upon arriving, police observed the group inside the building. When approached, the group attempted to flee through the south doors. Officers intercepted and detained Drewer, Tolman, and Gilmartin near the Tate deck. Stewart initially eluded officers, like she's feral, but she was later found crouching behind a wall near Gate 10 of the Stanford Stadium.
They were trying to catch her with like meat in a cage.
They put hamburgers and chicken in cages. She was surviving eating turtles, eating cockroaches. Stewart was the first to open the locked Tate Center door seen on camera, pulling it open without a scanned key card. After spotting officers, she fled the scene and hid behind a wall, intentionally avoiding police detention. Upon being found, Stewart admitted responsibility, stating, "Truly, that was actually my fault." And she explained that she fled because she was, quote, out of bond and didn't want to get caught out on bond. I was like, sorry, officers, I'm already a criminal, so
it's actually
this is really bad for me. I can't get caught. Unlike others in the group, what's that?
I said pause is going crazy.
Unlike others in the group, Stewart did not exhibit signs of alcohol consumption, and no fraudulent ID or contraband was found on her. Stewart was charged with loitering and prowling, obstruction of law enforcement, a misdemeanor. All 4 individuals were arrested and transported to the Athens-Clarke County Jail. The incident also involved charges of underage alcohol possession and possession of fake IDs or other members of the group. Drewer, Tolman, and Gilmartin have also bonded out of jail. This wasn't Stewart's first time behind bars. She was first arrested March 8th for speeding in excessive of maximum limits. The Georgia State Police said she was caught doing 79 in a 55-mile-hour zone. She was issued a citation. That's doing 78 in a 55-mile zone is fucking insane. I don't even like doing 79 in a 79-mile zone. It's like, what's the fastest you guys would drive on the freeway?
Oh,
I've done 80 when I've like,
I've done 80 when I'm like,
in like a 70 when somebody's like on my ass or something and I'm trying to get out of the way, but I don't like driving fast.
I hate driving fast, but I've done 80 when the flow of traffic is 80. You know what I mean?
I've broken 140 before.
That's what?
Damn,
yeah. I got a brand new. I had a couple brand new Mustangs. You got to break them in, so I take them out on the highway at night and just open them bitch up.
That's crazy.
Let's go as fast as I can. Yeah.
Not me. Yeah. I'm too conscientious.
Tony, your mic is hitting your zipper there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's been all night, but it's okay though.
Let me take this off.
Just minutes later, GSP said she was pulled over again, this time going 84 miles an hour.
Jesus.
In an interview with People, Stewart claimed she was on her way to a frat party at Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville. Some weird name. Dude, the South is insane.
Milledgeville?
Milledgeville.
Live in Milledgeville.
Stewart's smiling mugshot instantly went viral, receiving a mixed bag of comments like "got clock speeding through my mind" and "let's not romanticize this." You want to see these mugshots, the ones that went viral?
Let's go.
Okay. Oh wait, it's a TikTok. Okay. Oh wait, this one is God damn it. Okay. I can only show the second mugshot. But imagine this one, but like similar, like without like cop clothes or like a prisoner clothes on. She every time she gets arrested, she just has to like do it
crazy.
Let me see if I can find the other one. Her TikTok is going insane right now. She must have went viral. Like when she went viral off of this, unlike the Taliban guy, she monetized it immediately.
I mean, she is photogenic. I gotta give it to her.
It helps when you're a pretty girl, you know.
She looks like
that guy has the juice. She looks like a Simpson.
Not the way.
Like
Not the
Jessica
way.
Simpson, not a Homer Simpson.
Oh, I see. Okay. I thought you meant like a Simpsons character. I was like, what? How?
No. Like an Ashley Simpson character.
Fucking Moe's Tavern over here.
I can fix her.
Here's the original right here. This is when she was caught speeding 80 miles in a 55-mile zone to get to a frat party.
Dude, she's like a
demented.
Legally Blonde bit or something, or like, you know, I always look cute when I get my photo taken or something. You know what I mean?
You always have to put out good tape, you know. You can't.
Theo says, "Oh yeah, you know she did that shit. Whatever she said she did it."
Yeah.
Dang. Well, those are the majority of my news stories. I feel like that was a pretty good week of news stories.
Another wild week, yeah, man.
Yeah. Some of those were left over from like the Elon Musk week when I was just like, let's just go over the top on Elon. But it was for a good cause. We saved democracy that day.
Yeah, we really did. We just won the midterms in 2026.
Possible.
Make us later. Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past us the way things are going.
Yeah.
A comic book podcast not about comics or politics saved democracy on Tuesday.
What is it about? Well, mostly they just read news stories from Yahoo News.
Representatives for Musk said he was so humiliated by the quote roasting that
he got owned.
He let his Tesla drive him into the sea.
Hey, that would be sick if he did, though.
That'd be awesome. He's trying to do the underwater vehicle, you know. That was the thing. I remember like the first time I heard anything about him was when he was talking about how he was trying to make the underwater Lamborghini or Lotus from one of the James Bond movies.
Yeah. So Roger
Tony, should I read him the Cybertruck essay?
Yeah, read him the Cybertruck essay.
One more for the road. One more because, you know, but so Ibrahim, we read this last night. This is like, normally I don't do stories that we pre-read, but this shit was just too funny. Okay. So this is a Business Insider essay that was written by a guy named Ben Baker. I'll give you a screenshot to give you a sense of who this guy is, the vibe, what he's like. Okay. So this is on the Business Insider. As you can see here, it says, "I'm a big Cybertruck fan. I returned it because my daughter was worried about getting bullied." So when I read this to you, I want you to imagine this guy. Okay. In fact, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Stop sharing. Okay. So this is an as told to essay based on a conversation that this writer had with Ben Baker, a Tesla owner living in Sacramento, California. Business Insider has verified his identity and his former Cybertruck ownership. This story has been edited for length and clarity, but that's it because this thing was not edited, but it is so fucking good. Okay. So here it goes. "I have been a big tech guy for as far as I can remember. In my youth, I liked space. I liked the idea of SpaceX. I liked all this stuff that Elon Musk was doing. And it seemed like and he seemed like a Democrat at the time. So I was like, okay, this guy's awesome. He's doing all this cool stuff. I was a Democrat my whole life, but it wasn't too far back that I started to see the country getting more and more divided. I just felt like there was a huge push to run to as far left as possible, as far left as people could go, and that was a real shock to me because being a Democrat. So I decided to switch to being an independent. Okay. Somebody keyed my Tesla Model Y not too long ago after the election, and I was like, okay, that's no big deal. I live in California, which is a Democratic state, and so I kind of figured that there would be some of that stuff. By the way, he posted a picture of his keyed car. You could barely tell it has a scratch on it.
Like he might have just driven too close to a bush.
Easily, yeah. I didn't think it was that big of a deal until I went and bought a Cybertruck. So, like, you know, there's those people that are like, oh, I got this before Elon went evil, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's not one of those guys. He's like a guy who's like a fucking idiot. Like he
Dude,
could be
anyone
trapped.
who talks about how the country has gotten so divided and it's because of Democrats.
It's great,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
You know.
you already know. Paying him no
Yeah.
mind, right?
Fucking eat shit.
Yeah.
I just thought Elon was a cool guy, and Democrats liked him, but now they don't like him. That's not fair.
I like space and democracy, so I bought a Cybertruck. Fuck out of here, dude.
The first week I drove the Cybertruck, I took my family to Starbucks in it. While my family went in, I took some cool pictures of it. I was thinking, this is super awesome. As I was doing that, 3 people walked behind me and started looking at me and laughing. Then one of them called me a Nazi. I go, what are you talking about? I'm just buying this awesome truck. I think it's awesome. I'm not a Nazi. They were like, what up?
Wait, so he understood the correlation. They call,
Yeah.
like if somebody calls, if I'm walking down the street and somebody calls me a Nazi, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
If they call me a Nazi because I'm standing next to my Cybertruck, then obviously it's because, also nobody was calling Elon Musk a full-on Nazi until after the inauguration when he did the fucking Nazi salute. Like, like there was like rumblings of it, but it wasn't like mainstream to call him that until after he did a full-on Sieg Heil on the fucking stage twice. So this guy knew exactly what the fuck he was getting into, dude.
Theo says, okay, Cybertruck, take me to China. One of them called me a Nazi. I go, what are you talking about? I'm just buying this awesome truck. I think it's awesome. I'm not a Nazi. They were like, whatever, Nazi, which I thought was weird.
Nazi says what? Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm not a Nazi, guys. By the way, the picture of him like being like, I took a cool picture next in my car. He was doing this, Ibrahim.
Oh
like no joke. He posted a picture of him doing this at the wheel of the Cybertruck. Like it was like he was going like this. Like when they caught him, he was like this.
Amazing.
That was dope.
Later on, one of my daughters told me that if I kept the Cybertruck, she was going to get bullied. She said, Dad, under no circumstances can you keep this. My son, who leans right, said I should be able to drive the car I want and not have to worry about what people say. But then I started thinking about
my son more than my daughter.
By the way, also I love that like he drove them to Starbucks and was like, all right, you guys go ahead, go inside, get your coffee. I'm going to be out here taking photos of my cool car.
Yeah. I'm going to wait with the one I love most.
The car. Which I bought, by the way, for my children. Like, why did you buy your kids a Cybertruck? That don't make any sense.
Is that
this
what
guy
he said?
deserves. Yeah. Here, I'll reread it. Well, he'll continue more about this though. Later on, one of my daughters told me that if I kept the Cybertruck, she was going to get bullied. She said, Dad, under no circumstances keep this. My son, who leans right, said I should be able to drive the car I want and not have to worry about what people say. But then I started thinking about if one of them was driving the Tesla Cybertruck down the road and people get out of the car and start vandalizing it in front of her or when she's driving it. My daughter is young. She's just had her license maybe a year. That's terrifying to me. I'm a father and I have to do the right thing by my kids, which is to protect them. Maybe if I had all the money in the world to own the Cybertruck myself and then send them to school with another vehicle, then great. It would be on me if it got damaged.
Wait,
but
he's asserting that doesn't have enough money to have a vehicle separate of the Cybertruck to send them to school in. But so
exactly.
He bought like a what did those cost? Like 70,000 or something like that?
Minimum 70K.
He bought a $70,000 car.
I think it's 75 with like up to 1,000.
Okay. Let's even call it 60 just because
okay,
they're on sale right now because nobody wants them, right?
Right, exactly.
This man spent a down payment on a house for a car to send his kids to school, and he could have bought them a fucking used Honda that runs well, that has another 100,000 miles to go.
He
For
could have bought
$8,000.
two used
$8,000.
Hondas,
Yeah.
and had money extra for a down payment on a house.
What am I
Well, maybe not
supposed to
Sacramento,
do?
but Roseville
That's
maybe.
crazy, dude.
I bet he watches Pat McAfee. He's the
Oh,
type
for
of
sure
guy.
he watches Pat McAfee. He's got to be worried about what his daughter's doing in that car if he does.
I don't want her to have rights, but I do want her to not get bullied on the way to school.
Great point. My daughter is young. She just had her license maybe a year. That's terrifying to me. I'm a father, and I have to do the right thing by my kids, which is protect them. Maybe if I had all the money in the world to own the Cybertruck myself and then send them to school with another vehicle, then great. It would be on me if it got damaged. But I can't have that happen to them in that vehicle. And who knows how far these guys will take it. They could maybe harm my kids physically. And I couldn't live with myself if that happened. I love how he's like, this jumps from like, what if people make fun of her? What if they beat her up? These people are the left has gone insane. You know, they could harm my kids physically, and I couldn't live with myself if that happened. To me, it just wasn't worth seeing my daughter live in fear of the vehicle getting vandalized at their school. If I ended up taking it back, I ended up taking it back, and Tesla was really cool about it. I was able to unwind everything. I feel like protesting has always been the American way. I think people should have the right to protest, but they should have the right to protest without destruction. That's where the lines have been crossed. Nothing that's happening right now is logical at all. Right. And whose fault is that?
Also, this man bought the stupidest vehicle to exist in the last 50 years. Why is he getting a platform to talk about who gets to protest? Like,
it's all computer in there, though.
His fucking opinion begins and ends with "you bought a dumb car and you regret
it." Yeah, and shut the fuck up and eat it.
Yeah.
And your normal daughter was like, "Dad, this sucks."
Hey, what happened to personal responsibility? You know, I thought all these Republicans were all about that shit.
Well, he's an independent.
He's an independent.
Don't get it twisted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just imagine him though, like going home with his daughter. She's like, "Dad, this car sucks." Like, look at showing him all these videos of like how they're breaking down, falling apart, and then he just goes like, "Honey, I'm so sad that the left is causing you this distress." She's like, no, it's the car. No, the protesters, the leftist protesters, they're destroying your freedom. Like, no, it's the car sucks, Dad.
He's more worried about protesters than the car catching fire, you know.
But Father, how am I to get to school?
Daddy,
the liberals won't let me attend classes.
Nothing that's happening right now is logical at all. It's all emotionally driven and ideologically cultivated. My kids are afraid of taking this nice vehicle that's fast, awesome, and cool, and saves on gas. It's probably great for the environment. Yeah, probably.
But these are good memes.
It's a lot of money to invest in a vehicle and to buy one of these Cybertrucks. And I grew up from nothing. My mom was a single mother on government assistance, so I had to work super hard to get where I'm at. I hate people like this so much.
How somebody like this acquire? I mean, I know why it's not meritocracy, but it just seems like he's so stupid. He should not have been able to make enough money to buy this. But I guess it doesn't.
It's just me growing up on government assistance when I was very young, and my mom was like a single mother with like 4 kids to raise. And, she got on food stamps and she was like, I'm going to work so hard to get off food stamp. Took night school, did all the stuff that, like the purpose of this program, right? Got off of it, raised her kids, whatever. And now people are like, oh, like, like this is, like these programs, all people want to do is just be on them and, just soak off of the system, which is like one thing if like you have no experience with it, if you just grew up rich. But so many people rely on government programs, and it's so infuriating to me that somebody like this who grew up with government assistance would then be like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to vote for Trump or whatever. Like, we don't know he did. He said he's independent. But to just like look at Elon Musk as like a good guy who's like just specifically hates these programs. Like, that's what he's been doing for the last like, couple months that Trump's been in office, is just taking a literal like chainsaw to them. Like, yeah, like fuck this guy,
Yeah. He wants to close the door behind him, you know.
Dio said, his son leans right because he's already sucking up to the boss. Everyone is acting emotional. Here's an essay about my irrational fears.
Who said that?
Dio. What's worse is that I'm a huge fan of this technology. I really want a Cybertruck. I think they're freaking awesome. They're really fun to drive. They're roomy and spacious. I wasn't buying it for other people. I already own a Tesla, which I absolutely love. But I was buying a Cybertruck for me because I wanted to drive the future.
Wait, I thought it was for his kids. So who?
The kids are the future. He's driving them to school.
He's like, I wanted my kids to have a great car to drive to school. I bought this for me.
I thought that this was the land of the free, but this doesn't sound like freedom to me.
I thought it was also the home of the brave, and you sound like a bitch right now,
dude. When you start going down a pathway of saying, this is what we think you should believe, and if you don't believe this, then we're going to come at you, and we're going to take away what you've earned, that sounds like something else, and it doesn't sound good.
Dude, you're describing your guy, dude. That's crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is what we read this last night. We were dying, dude.
Dude, the cognitive dissonance is fucking unreal, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't think that hate and division are the way forward for this country or the world. Yeah, I don't either.
He thinks that I'm not, quote, Democrats are sitting there going, hate and division, that's what I'm about. I'm not trying to fucking provide for my family just like this guy. I want division. I want
hate and division. I want you to have health care and have student loans abolished and stop the genocide. Yeah, that's what fear and division. I want you to be afraid. Be afraid of this health care I'm going to give to you.
This is an unpolitical podcast.
Sorry. Yeah.
We're talking about pop culture here. I don't think, as long as we keep doing that and trying to put people into boxes and categorize them and label them, that's just going to create more division and hate, and it's super unfair. If just because somebody does a Nazi salute, and then you call them a Nazi, and then they sell cars explicitly branded for people who are their fans, and I buy one of those cars, that doesn't make me a Nazi, even though I've done everything that I should have to do to be a Nazi,
I just hate. I will say though, he has a point that like people are labeling people and they're being discriminated against for life choices and just not even things that they choose. Like you don't choose what kind of car you love, dude. It just you know what I mean?
It's in your soul. It's what you feel in your heart.
Like they're rounding people up off the streets because they have tattoos that they think are suspicious. Because they were at a campus protest. They're snatching them out of colleges.
No, dude, that's not happening. That's a lie. It is Tesla drivers are being they're gonna make them wear the Tesla like T logo.
Yeah.
They're gonna make them wear a yellow one on their fucking jackets and their sleeves, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to show your license every time.
Yeah, they're gonna get the VIN numbers tattooed in the inside of their forearm.
Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be pretty.
Wow, you want to talk about Nazis, dude?
Theo said, imagine putting people in metaphorical boxes. Sounds fucked up.
Sounds so fucked up, man. What a clown, dude.
We have got to find a way forward together that brings back basic human decency, but also common sense, so that we cheer for American companies to grow and thrive and help our pensions versus cheering for the fall of an American company. Because they're still heated about fucking our guy Tim Walz going like, you know what? Every time I need to cheer myself up a bit, I just watch a Tesla stock fall.
Yeah, I mean this guy
now that every stock is falling, but that was good back when he said it a week ago.
I'd be curious what this guy's background is for real, like what he does for a living, who his affiliations are, because it's easy to be like, I'm independent. Here's an article. It's like, are you? What's your deal?
Absolutely, man. He's like, fucking.
Yeah.
He's probably a health insurance company CEO or something.
Yeah. I don't have all the money in the world. All I have is the money to buy a Cybertruck and a Tesla. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
I'm a clown.
Yeah.
He looks like the guy. Sorry, go ahead.
My children can't slum around in a used car either. Like,
yeah. Dude, he looks like the guy from that Onion thing that's like, local man hates that the mermaid is black now or whatever.
Oh,
like
shit.
it's like the same photo.
I found his. I could tell you what he does. This guy sounds like such a dickhead. So it says proud father, leader, fire emoji. This is from his Instagram, which I found pretty easily. Navy vet with PTSD and ADHD, artist, author, marketing sidekicks, AI, branding, automation, scaling, marketing. I aim to inspire. Check mark.
I bet his children aren't even real. They're just like robots or something. I mean, he doesn't even have kids. He just has like little like, you know, those little things you get as a kid. You have to like feed and keep alive.
Tamagotchi or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's doxing to share this guy's Instagram. I mean, this guy is like as dumb as we imagined him to be. He is dumber looking.
His kids
like
are
it's so
gigapets.
fucking funny. Wait, hold on.
He's an independent though. You know, he's an independent. Independent free thinker.
Look at all the AI
guy who just
Ghibli fucking things he's got. Oh my god.
Several of
asshole.
them. So he's got a bunch of things where he just posts his Rolexes. CEO smashes Rolex to prove a point. But look at this fucking these photos of him. This was the most exhilarating experience. Taking photos and video next to a giant tiger. Look at his fucking face.
Dude. Dude. I just... my man lost his way.
Dude, dream big.
Small.
Hold on, I don't know some of these audio things. Dude, he's just got like the dumbest fucking... Look at him, dude. What are these?
He's living his best life, you know. Look at him. He doesn't have all the money in the world, but you know. Have you seen? Has he even? You don't see anything about his kids or nothing. It's just him doing all this other shit. Like, I guess that's probably for the best.
He's a Sacramento Kings fan at that.
Oh, there you go, fucking loser.
Look at the. You know what? We're proving his point right now. Look at the division we're selling.
We're
Look at
putting into a box.
Yeah. He's more than
this is the cool daughter that told him to get rid of his fucking Cybertruck.
Shout out to her. On nothing but the best. This guy's like every cliche in the book.
Yeah, he really is. It's kind of like stunning how he fits every cliche in the book.
He's out here doing the fucking faux hawk in 2025.
Bro, how old is he? In his 40s? What are you doing, man?
Oh my god, this guy's so crazy.
He's too much, man. He's too much.
Yeah, he really is.
He's kind of like
I just love these faces, dude.
If cringe was a person.
Shout out to his family.
I love that some business insider person was like, so this guy's a complete idiot. What if I talk to him about
yeah,
you know,
do a spotlight article
he got
on
rid of
this
his
guy.
Tesla.
Yeah. I'm gonna platform this guy.
But yeah, he apparently does. He does something with hivepower.ai. By the way, like I'm looking at his Facebook now, it's all the same content, but like nothing, like no likes on any of this shit. He gets no engagement. He has no motion. That's crazy. Anyways, well, on that note, we should probably start wrapping up. Anything coming up that you guys have to talk about, promote, anything like that?
I am starting a new book with David Crispino. We're starting.
W.
Yeah, W. It's another installment of Ancient Noise.
Hell yeah.
So David's writing the script right now, and I'm doing designs for it. And we were talking the other day, and we had an idea, and kind of want to see it to fruition. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm having fun drawing these characters because it's like cool. You know it is. You start these characters at one point, and then like a decade later, I've been drawing them. Now we get to pick it up
That's
further
awesome,
along
dude.
in the story. And yeah, so I'm doing
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. And also Free Palestine.
W.
That's
Well, hold
something I
on.
really want to do. Well, Free Palestine, but also
Oh, yeah.
go back to some stuff I've done before. I've got to do a little bit with Count and then Sim, but like I want to have like a recurring character kind of story thing that I do. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no, like it is cool. Like this is the first time I've really been able to do something like this, where it's like we've been working on this book for so long, and we've only done we did 5 issues, but it's like each year we put out an issue, and now we're picking it up. Like the characters evolved, changed, and their hair's growing out. They got different accoutrements or whatever. It's cool. It feels like real world building shit.
Yeah,
and it's like independent. We own it. So it's just cool to like have no like holds barred attack on it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, I with my zine, I have a few stories. I've been working on it slowly, but a few of them are all like, well, they're all characters that are recurring now, but they're like, one of them was like one from when I was like in my 20s. One was like my the thing I did with Dark Horse. Like I'm just going to use that character, and then the other one is like my little teen thing. So like, yeah, it is really fun when you just own that shit. You can do whatever you want with it, and like it's like low stake. I mean, like not for you guys, but like for my zine, it's going to be like pretty low stakes. I'm going to put it on Patreon and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's not high stakes for us either. We do our little Kickstarter, we raise the usual funds that we raise, and get to make our book and make a little bit of money, and then that's it. Nothing crazy, but
yeah,
it's all about the love of the game. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I have my that book Jaeger I did, that one through that digital app, and like I self-published it, and then I did it with my homie Fabrice's imprint. He reprinted it and like sold out through Diamond, like 1,500 copies or something. And
dang.
I was nominated for an Eisner for that one, so I'm like I've been wanting to go back to that, and like I love these book series like Bosch and Reacher and stuff like that, where you just like you go back to that same character for a new adventure, and that's something I want to do with that story. But then also I have this other thing I want to do that's going to be my like indie fucking black and white like thing that I do that I'm looking forward to hopefully starting at some point. And that's the other kind of thing that would be like a sort of like my Savage Dragon or something, right, where it's just like, or my Hellboy or whatever. So yeah. As far as promo stuff, just same check out the YouTube. I'm always doing what I think is pretty cool shit over there.
Yeah, you posted that sweet shredder.
Yeah, thank you. And I got more stuff coming. I'm working on Casey Jones. I'm doing I got the NECA Gargoyles Goliath, and I'm like redoing it so that it looks a little more realistic and less like cartoony, and putting like cloth goods on him and stuff, and I'm gonna do my hair thing where I give him like real looking hair and stuff. So keep up over there. Excuse me, that's just under my name.
I got one more thing I forgot about too. Oni's putting out a collection of the Rick and Morty specials, and the Spring Break special is among it. It's like a giant, I think it's like a trade edition with all these different specials over the years. So nice. I drew the Spring Break special, and it's in there. So if you go to Oni, and I'm sure you can find it. If anyone's interested.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Rick.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody who joined us. Justin Pearson said, yes, please. Not sure what that was.
Oh, what up, Justin?
What up, Justin?
Thank you. And you know what? Thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for enriching the conversation.
Hey,
if you really like it, then you should subscribe.
Talk to you guys next week.
All right, later, everybody.